gue udah ngefans sama Bigetron, dari awal banget mereka muncul. Melihat determinasi mereka di kompetisi, jadi salah satu faktor kenapa gue bisa suka banget sama gameplay mereka. Selain prestasi yang mereka raih di kancah dunia, mereka juga selalu bisa bikin harum nama Indonesia. Dan ini saatnya mereka membuktikan kalau DNA juara mereka masih ada. Dengan amunisi baru, gue berharap ini adalah awal kebangkitan Bigetron Red Alliance. Meskipun Zuxi tidak bisa merasakan medali emas yang diraih Luxi, di PMWI nanti, gue berharap mereka bisa angkat piala bersama lagi.
Gue yakin kali ini kita pasti bisa.
Kalau ngomongin soal mob, bisa dibilang ini soal loyalitas. Karena gue dong support mob dari awal mereka ada. Baliknya Zai dan Frenzy, serta pemain baru lainnya, bakal bikin mob jadi tim yang akan diperhitungkan nantinya. Meskipun soal prestasi, mereka tidak sementereng tim lainnya. Tapi gue yakin mereka bakal ada di titik sana nantinya. Evolusi Unlocking Mob adalah salah satu pergerakan yang sangat menarik perhatian gue.
Sabar, pelan-pelan aja, pelan-pelan, jangan ngegas.
Di PMWI nanti, bakal jadi panggung pertama dan pembuktian mob yang baru.
Tim Indonesia yang akan mendapatkan
Sudah saatnya mob bangkit dan jadi tim yang diperhitungkan di kancah dunia.
Dua tim Indonesia sudah mendapatkan winner chicken dinner. Sabar, pelan-pelan aja, pelan-pelan, jangan ngegas. Smoke setup.
Kali ini, di depan ribuan penonton, gue buktiin gue bisa juara dan mengharumkan nama bangsa Indonesia.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصه في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده انا هرشه كل المجال حبايبي بروز.
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع ايه الكي نظرة لو على الحلاوة عندي كاستر والاسم
عفرت يا عفرت، هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الاول.
لا 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 مش مسجل.
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين الصين، سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري، اسمع ملوك الصين ببلاش.
Ladies and gentlemen, proudly presented by Saudi Airlines, the PUBG Mobile World Invitational Trophy.
سيداتي سادتي، كأس بطولة PUBG موبايل وورلد انفيتيشنال مقدم لكم من الخطوط السعودية.
Hello and welcome to Gamers8. It is the third and final day of the PUBG Mobile World Invitational Main Tournament. My name is Banks and I'm your host, and I'm joined by my co-host on the main stage, Fancy.
حياكم الله من جديد أعزائي المشاهدين والحضور في اليوم الأخير من بطولة جيمرز 8 الببجي موبايل وورلد انفيتيشنال. زي ما شاهدنا الأيام الماضية نتائج كانت غير متوقعة ونتائج مبهرة من كل الفرق اللي معنا، واليوم هو بيكون اليوم الأخير اللي نبي نعرف فيه مين اللي راح يرفع الكأس وبيرجع فيه لدولته، أو إنه ممكن يبقى في الدولة السعودية. زي ما احنا شايفين بالأمس المركز الأول كان معنا فريق فالكونز، ودنا نشوف هل بيتغير الشيء هذا ولا لا.
Yes, the lion's share of $2 million will be claimed today by just one of our teams, as well as the incredible PMWI Gamers8 trophy. And let's not forget that coming into our final day, representing their home country on home soil, Team Falcons are at the top of the leaderboard.
زي ما احنا عارفين ايضا مجموع الجوائز في البطوله راح يكون اكثر من $2,000,000، وزي ما احنا عارفين ايضا انه كميه المنافسه الشديده اللي موجوده معنا، خصوصا من 18 فريق موجودين من جميع انحاء العالم متواجدين معنا اليوم عشان يثبتون انفسهم. نبي نعرف مين اللي راح يكون بطل البي ام دبليو اي لسنه 2022.
Remember that next week we will be commencing the after-party showdown. But for now, let's get locked into this tournament and let's end it out with a bang. So we're going to go back over to the desk where they can break everything down before we dive into our first map of the day.
ولا ننسى ايضا ان الاشياء الرهيبه اللي قاعده تصير في ببجي موبايل ما راح تنتهي في نهايه اليوم. ايضا راح يكون عندنا الاسبوع القادم الببجي موبايل افتر بارتي شو داون، راح نشهد فيه كثير من الفرق يتنافسون ايضا معنا في المسرح. لكن قبل كذا لا نستبق الاحداث، خلونا على طول نتوجه للاستوديو التحليلي نتكلم شوي عن ايش ممكن نشهد مباريات اليوم، فعلى طول نتوكل على الله معاهم.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You are looking as handsome as ever on the stage. I'm Jason Kaplan. I'm your host who'll be covering the action not only for this main event, but as you heard, for the after-party showdown coming up next week. But we got to round out the main tournament here with $2 million on the line. And the gentlemen to help me do just that are towards my left-hand side, my analyst, Maxman, looking fresh, and Coloris, being as amazing as ever.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Jason. Max, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And I saw that trophy. Apparently it's super heavy, so I hope they were working out whoever's going to win, because
I'm going to lift it.
They're going to struggle to pick it up.
Do you think you could lift it?
Nah.
No.
Probably not.
Okay, then.
I think I could curl it. I heard it's like 23 kilos.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait, no. Okay, I thought it was pounds. Never mind. 23 pounds, I could totally curl. 23 kilos, I would be not able to fit in a shirt.
When you say curl it, I instantly went navigated to the curling. I'm like,
I was thinking now.
What are you talking about?
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, before we dig underway to break down what's all happened in the past days and, of course, what's coming out today, I want to give a big shout out here to Savvy Gaming Group for putting on this event and sponsoring it and making sure we can all enjoy all the action, not only here in PUBG Mobile, but, of course, in all the other titles we've had here up until today. But, gentlemen, the format, we got to go over this once again for you guys at home who missed out on the last 2 days of action. 18 teams, not 16, that's not a typo, Max Man. 18 teams have been playing for 2 days, and now that today is the final day, with 6 matches a day across 3 different maps.
I think on the last day I understood it was not a typo. I think we saw how things were going down in the lobby. I think we understood it is still a little bit hectic for some of these teams. Teams are still trying to adjust to this big change. 2 teams in the lobby does change a lot for these teams. And teams were able to get there, found some success. We're thinking of RSG. They definitely understood how things work out, but some changes can still happen on this third day.
I think the most drastic thing that's happened over these 2 days is that teams have survived longer, and you just get more teams in some of those final circles. Thus, the play area is constricted, and teams are having a really hard time moving around, especially on those edges. So it's definitely had an impact, and some teams have not had the easiest of times adapting to it, whereas some teams have really risen to the occasion.
Otherwise, you can just pull an RSG. No, just drop boot camp on Star Wars, eliminate them. 17 teams.
They're our biggest competition. Why not end their campaign straight away?
Exactly. Or we've got some other teams that take the other approach, right? And they're playing very, very passive. So you've got 2 different styles, and teams can still try and bring some changes to the table here.
Well, changes, if they're going to be made, hopefully they were done overnight. If you're not one of the teams currently sitting in the top 5, well, you won't be getting through into the after-party showdown, but you can see exactly how they get their points here. Again, eliminations equaling 1 point is something we've seen be very prevalent in a couple of different teams in how they plan to play things out. But here you go, $2 million on the line. And of course, additional money on top of that $2 million with the MVP, the Gunslinger, the Field Medic, the Eagle Eye, and of course, the Grenade Master.
Yeah, and one big change, right, that we did see is that the Field Medic is actually not the top healing, it is actually the top res. So how many times can res up is very, very important. So far, I believe it is Scry from Stalwart that is leading up there, so he is playing really well, like keeping his team alive and
so
set up.
if you're one of those teams in last place, you'd be like, all right, just go keep getting knocked from you, and we'll share the money, we'll split it between us.
5K, guys. But I think as the day goes on as well, during the games, you'll be able to keep up to date with kind of how all of these are progressing. We get a good opportunity to show these at the start of games, etc., and stuff like that, so you can keep your eyes open at home.
Yeah, all right. I was going to say like $500, once again, $1,000 for first place. Like, you don't see tournaments get that amount for the first place position, so you could be $500,000 richer after this event.
Yeah, $500,000 richer, split between 4 people initially, right? Depends if you have substitutes, you have analysts, you have coaches.
Coach staff,
that's a lot of money to split for these teams, and the thing is, like, that's life-changing money. I know we haven't really mentioned it just yet, but getting at least $100,000 in your pocket, you could buy a nice car. You could potentially put that down towards a house. You could put a part of that over towards a new phone, actually. And speaking of new phones, Sony Xperia 1.4 here, official partner of PUBG Mobile. It's actually made in collaboration with professional players, so hopefully these players will be using a portion of their earnings to pick up one of these bad boys, or maybe they'll be given one for free. Maybe, like, the talent will be given one.
I mean, $500K, you could hire me for 1 day.
You could, or half a day. I mean, it depends on what's all going down here. As you can see all of our social channels as well. Make sure you guys are paying attention to that, because you can win some awards or win some prizes throughout the day. But ladies and gentlemen, to get you hyped up and ready to go for what not only is happening this weekend and next, let's take a look at all the teams we have to participate.
Give it your everything, it ain't no holding back. Time to be the one, best squad, that's a fact. Nobody can stop me when I get in my zone. Take it higher, go from unknown to world known. On another level, competition is in trouble. Putting numbers on the board and it's about to double. We can never fold, we can never break. To be the greatest, we will do whatever it takes.
We never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Never fall back. No lies, no facts. We will stay right where we at. We never fall back. We never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We never fall back. We never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We never fall back.
Legendary, feeling like it's my moment. No slowing down now, we can move forward. We got the passion and drive, we stay working. An undeniable team, we on the circle. Bring the fire like a dragon, hunger and the passion. Making history, our energy is everlasting. We're staying on top, team so supreme. Making big moves the world has never seen.
We never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. We never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Never fall back. We never fall back.
where we are joined by the coach of our current Joy Boy. Going into day 3 at the top of the leaderboard. I've got to ask you, how are you feeling about that?
حياك الله معنا جوي بوي، نورتنا في المسرح. قبل ما نبدا مباريات اليوم زي ما احنا عارفين هو اليوم الاخير، ودنا نعرف انكم او زي ما احنا عارفين انكم انتم الان في المركز الاول، وش شعوركم تجاه النقطه هذه؟
شعورنا حلو كثير انه تكون توب 1 ضد تيمات عالميه، يعني انه فريقنا من ضمن اقوى الفرق في العالم، وهذا شيء يعني جديد شوي وان شاء الله نحافظ عليه.
He's very happy that they finished the second day being the first place among all these top teams from all over the world, and he's going to try his best along with his teammates to try to keep it until the end.
Well, speaking of teammates, we had a nice conversation with Never Alone, one of your players, on day 1, who said on the main stage his main focus is to keep this trophy right here in Saudi. So, what I have to ask you is basically, what is it going to take for you and your team to keep it here?
زي ما احنا عارفين بالامس سوينا مقابله مع نيفر الون احد من لاعبين فريق فالكونز، وكان السؤال الموجه له انه ايش اللي ممكن انكم تسوونه عشان تخلون التروفي هذا يجلس في السعوديه وما يطلع منها، فودنا نسالك نفس السؤال، ايش الاشياء اللي ممكن انكم تسوونها عشان تتاكدون من النقطه هذه؟
اكيد هدفنا الاول هو انه اللقب يضل في السعوديه، واللي راح نسويه هو راح نكمل طريقه لعبنا اللي لعبنا فيها اول يوم وثاني يوم، وان شاء الله انا بحس هاي البطوله اكثر على المونتاليتي، فنحاول انه نخلي المونتاليتي قويه لاخر البطوله ان شاء الله.
He's saying they're going to try their best to make sure that this trophy stays in Saudi Arabia, and the only thing that they're going to do is to keep playing the same way that they played yesterday and the day before. And he feels like the most important thing about this tournament is the mentality, so they're going to be focused on that heavily throughout the day.
Well, clearly what you're doing is working, because sometimes teams can slip into playing a little bit more passively when they're in the lead. So keep playing aggressive, keep getting those eliminations, and I'm sure that we'll see you at the top of the table at the end of the day. But you know what? We're going to have to go back over to the desk because we are throwing it into our first map very, very shortly.
شكرا لك جوي بوي، ما قصرت وجودك معنا في المسرح.
Speaking of shortly, we got Claris here on the end to talk a little bit about what's coming up today. No, I'm just kidding. That would be actually Severworld's Gaming, who will be coming up shortly. Don't worry. Look, funny. I actually did fall off the... Actually, to be fair, before we started, Max did ask him, what would happen? What would it be like if he fell off that
What
box?
if I fell off
He's
my
petrified.
2-inch high box? I don't know, guys. It's quite the fall for me.
We might need to get a new analyst in. Let's actually take a look at our overalls. If you guys missed out on the last 2 days of action, you can see here, as we obviously got to hear, Team Falcons in first place at 142 points. But there's multiple things here for you all to focus on. So his first place, obviously, taking home $500,000, but also top 5 advanced through into the after party showdown. So currently, Damwon Kia is the cutoff at 107 points.
Yeah, your overlords here, Kalaris, are able to
South Korean
perform.
overlords.
The South Korean overlords,
That's right.
they're doing great. And really, I mean, the South Korean overlords, they got the DBS. I think they're your team, really, by
You're
default.
speaking my language, mate.
Exactly. Damwon really had a major step up, but teams that we didn't talk about too much, right, is your Nigma Galaxy, Dennis Bank Wildcats. They had an incredible rise yesterday, and they are currently in a potential position to contest for that top 5.
But as kind of mentioned just before, and mentioned at the end of yesterday, and we need to mention it once again, a spotlight is heavily on RSG right now because of the insane meteoric rise that they had through day number 2. All those teams below them as well as above them have to be petrified because what they brought yesterday was nothing less of terrifying, and I think they're probably going to bring that as well today.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at all of these teams on the top position, right? Anyone can have a really good day just like RSG did. Like, if they have a pop-off day, first position is coming their way, but when you look on the second page here, unfortunately, this is the place where you have to have the best day imaginable out of, like, all the tournaments so far to make it up.
I think like 10th and up right now have an okay chance to qualify. I think when you start to get down to Donuts, Box Gaming, and down below, you like you just said, Max, you have to have a phenomenal day to have a chance to make it through. And if you're one of the teams in 17th, 18th place, it's almost done. If anything, you should focus on trying to earn as much money from this event as you can.
I mean, when you look at TJB, Donuts, I think it was Box just above them as well, these teams that have a win but are still kind of down here, it shows that unfortunately for them, yes, you've had a win. Yes, you've had a big point game. But what has happened in the rest of the 11 games that we've played so far? Not much.
Yeah.
So they're really going to have to bump up their average here if they actually want to push into that top 5, I say.
Okay, well, the team's obviously trying to earn some money. You guys at home can earn some prizes if you make sure to change your profile picture over on social media to your favorite team and go comment on all the official channels within PUBG Mobile Esports. You have a chance to win some sweet prizes, maybe even a Sony smartphone. But gentlemen, we are actually getting very close to this first match kicking off, so let's take a look at the schedule. If you guys have missed out on the days prior and you're not sure exactly what will be happening today, it's the exact same lineup. We have Erangel into Miramar into Sandhawk, and of course, as you guys can see on your screens, Erangel and Miramar, and to end things off on Erangel. So happy to see that instead of Sandhawk. That makes me always a little bit sad to see things end there. We never know what's going to happen when it comes to that map. But gentlemen, I mean, we're about to get underway with the match. I'm actually curious to hear, what teams do you think currently not in the top 5 do you have as like, okay, I have true faith that they can push through and make it in?
Making it in top 5, I really would like to see the side of Nigma Galaxy push up. Like, once again, they have a home crowd also present here. Imagine you have like Falcons and also Nigma Galaxy making it. That would be huge for the region.
Sure,
and I think that they're a team that a lot of people are going to look at to potentially climb in top 5.
I think the top 5 is pretty solid right now. I think they are definitely the names that have shone and impressed me the most here when it comes to it. I would like to see Box move up. I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for them, be it past tournaments or just in general, thinking that the roster is very strong. It's true, man. They're cool. But I don't know if it's going to be doable. The top 5 looks strong.
Okay, well, gentlemen, we can see here the team's getting ready. That's Vampire Esports on your screen. We're getting ready as well, as we're going to have to bring in our commentators to start off this day. Maybe a little bit of a nosebleed coming through as well. But either way, yeah, it's intense. The pressure's on. Sometimes you got to clog up the nosebleed as well to make sure you are focused, but we're focused. The casters are focused, and the team's hopefully not going to lose any of their focus because they have 6 matches left to go. Whether it is to get into first place, to get into top 5, it is still yet to be decided. So hopefully you guys at home are all going to enjoy. And I'm going to throw it on over to our commentators for the first match of the day, Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
Oh man, I am excited. The final day, we're going to find out which teams are going to take first place. And also which team, as Jason was saying, are going to be moving to the after party next week. Because, I would say it's kind of close at the top, honestly. If you look at Enigma Galaxy, that was a team that on day 1 didn't really do that well. On day 2, they came out hot.
Yeah, the big question for me is obviously who's going to be able to hold on to the top 5 spots. But we have a few good teams that are chasing currently that are within that striking distance. And as the guys said on desk, down to that 10th spot, maybe if Donuts are going to have a fantastic start, they could be jumping in to be within the striking distance of the top 5. But the top 5 teams, they have been looking extremely strong. And what I've been most impressed with has actually been Damwong's Kia's comeback from day 1 to day 2, and how well they're able to improve from day 1 to day 2 has been super impressive. And this is an absolutely insane first plane path here for Erangel. The most southern plane path you can possibly have. It's just starting over Promos, going all the way over to south of Milta, close to Novo there. That's going to be interesting. And the one question is it going to be a military circle as well? Or are we going to have one of these really crazy ones where the plane path is super far away and the circle just goes all the way to the different edge, so potentially north or somewhere else?
What I'm going to be looking at is with such a south playing path, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking at Star Wars Esports, how they're going to be playing this. This is a team that usually tends to play slow because they don't have to worry about a lot of teams being towards the south. I feel like some of the teams might not want to rotate as much and might just want to go to farm, go to Melta, go to shelter, go to those kind of locations instead of trying to go all the way up to Yasnaya and Mansion. So I'm really intrigued to see what the first circle is going to be. It will maybe make some of these teams push up more. And then Vampire Esports, we talked about it yesterday. I was hoping that they would be able to not duplicate, right?
Yeah.
What we saw from them on day 1 with the 24 elims in the first match. But I am intrigued to see them again. I want to see them be aggressive again. As we're seeing some of the top players here, longest elim, Hector from Team Soul being able to take it.
Putting 21 more meters on the longest shot from yesterday, and it's very much been action and lightning here as you see them heading. The first circle is going to pop. It's going to be on the western side. It's going to be a quite easy one here. The vast majority of the west is in play, still having Pochinki and School inside the first circle. So going to be interesting to see how it's going to fall out here. Xperia Sony, thanks for joining us here for the official smartphone partner for the PMWI 2022.
Yeah, and we were looking at some of the top players there earlier. We have to talk about Star Wars Esports Action. That man is just on a tear. He's currently leading in regards to damage with 5,463 damage, but he's actually not leading when when it comes to elims, the person that's leading is from RSG. Is going to be Shandian with 30 elims. So it's going to be interesting. I'm also really intrigued to see how Team Falcons is going to be playing today. I feel like they're going to have a lot of pressure being the home team currently starting off the day on first place. I feel like that might play into just their mental.
Yeah, it could be, but also the buffer that they have down to 5th place and even 6th place that they're some of the teams chasing, of course, 44 points lead to the teams that are chasing on 6th place and beyond there. That is quite a good lead. And we were talking about a hypothetical cutoff yesterday after the first 3 games that could be around the 150, 160 point marker. So they don't need to do much to be the first team to cross that. And still 12 points lead down to Stalwart too. I am really excited and ecstatic to see Falcons' potential for today and how well they are going to be able to take it on. Also, potentially gatekeep or deny some of the other teams that they feel like are their biggest competitor going into the after party. But of course, the main objective, getting that W for this year, being able to take that much money home would be crazy. And also keeping that trophy on Saudi Arabian soil.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that they don't try to change anything that has been working for this team because, I mean, they are in first place for a reason. But when we go talk about points, 2 teams, Vampire Esports on day 1, they were able to get 86 points. And then RSG yesterday on day 2, they were also able to get 86 points. Yep. So as you were saying, they need to be careful from those teams. Star Wars Esports, Damn One, Kia, this was team you were just mentioning too. They came out of nowhere. They could end up getting 86 points. It's Team Falcons. I don't kind of want to put it out there, but I am going to have to say it. If they do end up having a bad day, they could end up getting out of the top 5. And ultimately, yes, you want to get that first place. You want to get the prize pool, but you also want to be able to move on to the after party.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll see what Morph is doing and how we're checking in here in Yasnaya. Had plenty of talks with these guys, especially their coach as well. Super nice guy. Meet him in the gym. He's putting in the good work, and hopefully these guys are able to be one of those teams that can be within that striking distance and potentially jump into the top 5 with that, because they are just, I would say, 19 points behind the top 5 right, which is one good game. We've seen plus 30 points being done from the winning teams with the amount of eliminations we've seen and so forth. So it's definitely doable. And these first couple of games that we have the pleasure of casting is going to be super important for setting yourself up, because when there's only 1, 2, 3 games left, that's where you're going to have to play much more strategic depending on what you see on our total leaderboard.
Oh, definitely. It's going to set the tone to how the day is going to go, right? Especially some of the other teams at the top start being really aggressive and become elim heavy, as we saw Vampire Esports happen on that day 1, match 1. But you were talking about Morph. I mean, when it came to Morph, it was a bit of a lackluster in the first 2 matches on day 1, but then they were able to get that chicken dinner. And yesterday, I feel like they definitely became a lot more consistent. They ended up with 2 second-place finishes and 1 third-place finish, which that's great. All these teams need right now is to, on the first game, if possible, don't wait until the second game, try to get that one huge game to just put you in contention. It's going to give you a confidence boost. And I'm very big when it comes to mental, because it can play very heavy on these teams, especially being in Atlanta event. A lot of these players are used to playing just online. For them to be here, for them to feel the crowd too, because I know we are going to be hearing that crowd of Saudi Arabia, especially Team Falcons continues to be in first place. That's going to get to them at some point.
Yeah, they definitely have this home turf heroes buff, the buff of the crowd. You can see also sometimes some of the videos that they're able to, once they got their wins, jump out into the crowd, celebrate with them. That's super cool to see. You're on screen a ton. Right now with the big rotations out far on the eastern side. That is a really interesting one. They're moving it right now close to Virtual Gaming Squad. Potentially could be taking more vehicles in this situation. They are. And Jafas is going to be dropping off, or going to be dropped off with the other guys. Oh no, it's actually staying here with Alpha Luigi 2. Now Box and back-to-back could potentially be in a fight already. Break is running up already to Polo and J-Wait.
And Break trying to figure out, he does decide to back off a little bit. I think he realized, you know what, this is not going to be a good idea. They are going to take on the fight. Polo does get some damage on him, and I think at this point, back-to-back is just going to want to back off. And I'm glad we got a chance to see back-to-back right there in Atani Esports earlier, because I wanted to get a chance to talk about them. These are teams that are currently towards the bottom. It's not impossible, right, for them to try to make it to the top 5, but in a way, it kind of is. So a lot of the other teams towards the top need to be careful with those teams at the bottom. I mean, yesterday, I think it was on the last 2 matches, Team Soul ended up eliminating Stalwart Esports twice, back to back, in Miramar and Erangel. So even though these teams might be 13th, 14th, 15th, whatever the case might be, those other teams at the top need to be careful because they could steal points from them, and it could allow maybe some of the other teams that are currently not in the top 5 to move up.
Exactly. It really talks to the depth of the lobby, right? You have so many skillful teams, and even if you're not in the lead, you're able to take out some of the teams that are definitely in the top right now. So that is super impressive to see, of course. Multiple teams coming out of so many regions. That's also obviously what we love about PMWI here. So many regions represented. Both on screen here for Indonesia are rotating now. And next week, they're going to be joined by some of the fan favorites, of course. Bigtron, BTR joining them. Huge fan following, huge history with this team as well for years and years behind. Now, have Enigma Galaxy rotating close to Regans. And Galaxy currently is in a good situation for them, 6th place right now. But they do need to have a good day to get something.
And I'm pretty sure Enigma Galaxy is going to be looking to carry that momentum from the end of the day yesterday.
For sure.
Yeah. 4th place finish, 2nd place finish, 7th place finish.
With 9 elims as well.
Yeah. It wasn't just like they were going for placement points there. We're looking to get the action. I think it was on Miramar that I saw it. I thought they were going to be able to win it, but they were just playing a little bit too patient for me. I'm hoping that today they do decide to make decisions a little bit faster, because I felt like Miramar, I think it was the second Miramar, they could have gotten a chance to actually win that, but they just played it way too slow. So hopefully they were able to go watch some VODs, come back. But now I want to see what this new circle is going to be looking like, because we had a heavy South Plane.
Yeah, it's hard to predict as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the teams. I mean, we have Atan Esports up in Severny that are going to have to come down for rivals too.
Long rotations.
And this right here is going to benefit huge for I think it's going to benefit huge for Vampire Esports.
For sure. And the question is, of course, how are they rotating in? How are they going to be planning ahead? Of course, a southwestern shift here is going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the north and eastern side. So the question is, if you're able to get in early, how deep can you go? How much terrain can you get from the southwest side? Because if you're able to go on a deep rotation, get some good macro going from the very get-go, you're able to get some of those compounds that might be free close to the center, but on the western side. So that's really the question for me. Those teams that are rotating early, are they going to take some of those high priority compounds in case it shifts their way? Now Donuts on screen with Enigma Galaxy. Shots are coming out. Hamadi is going down with a knock going their way. That's very unfortunate. But Donuts is one of the teams that are chasing right now the top 5. And we hear a few guys clapping. And now the
Enigma Galaxy just losing one player.
That's
and I think it's smart though out of the team to just give up on it. And we do have that one. Yeah. Being able to get 2 knocks right there from Lightning.
Huge. Reckons that is going to be an important one here. Not a big priority to be fighting over this area, though. It's very much in the northeastern side of the circle, but it is also about rotations, about those pull-ups, and you want to defend your terrain, of course. Reckons deciding to move out on the east, and they're going to be rotating out somewhere else.
I can tell you who's happy right now after that engagement. Team Falcons.
For sure.
They're
Falcons,
like, yes,
Falcons
please.
Seeing everyone fighting each other, and they're just staying 4 guys alive now. TJB shots are coming in. That's one shot taking the car. It's going to take the coupe and go away with that one.
Virtual Gaming Squad, a team that's currently in 16th place. I know they're going to look at make some kind of noise here. So hopefully that will be the case in there. We got a chance to see that replay. Virtual Gaming Squad trying to hopefully climb up the ladder a little bit, see if maybe they can get close to the top 5, if not make some highlight plays. And here we go, Enigma Galaxy just passing by Vivo Key from Brazil. We saw how aggressive they were able to be yesterday. Right now, I mean, Vivo Key are currently sitting in 10th place. They did have a great 2. And they could possibly, with Vivo Key, I think that's a team that could possibly strike for that top 5.
Yeah, for sure. One of the teams, of course, that I've been following a lot, covering PMPL Brazil. Insane players, mechanically so gifted, all of them. Definitely one of the teams I would love to see going into the after party. Also a team I'd love to see compete here in the last day. Adrian, the first player in the PMPL spring that was able to get the triple MVP. Highest damage, highest amount of eliminations, and highest healing in a single match.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can get into the after party,
They would be dancing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You know that with the setup, just wait until next week and we tell you how it's going to be working. They're going to be loving it because they're just such an aggressive team, and I think it's going to just allow them and give them the chance to win lots of money.
For sure. And our next circle is going to be popping very soon. We are seeing it here on screen how much pressure there is coming on the northern side. There's a lot of open space in the east, a lot of open space in the south too. And the question is, if the next circle pops north, south, where it's going to go, it's going to be very important. If it goes center, though, a lot of teams are going to be happy. It's going to go kind of south. Ooh. So good amount of teams right now would be having a good situation if they did some of those long rotations out on the eastern side or on the western side to try to get in on that southwest open area that we right now know are open. And statistically, the players also know is open because of those continuous southern shifts.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Enigma Galaxy, you're happy with that shift, right? This is a team that lost one player already. They were able to locate themselves in a perfect spot, and now it's going to be being able to defend where they're currently at. We saw some teams being able to do that perfectly yesterday, which was with Star Wars Esports. I want to see if Enigma Galaxy, I mean, a team that's just so close to the top 5, hopefully they can finish off. As we do see USG here going up against Vivo Kid, and look at this. Donuts being able to get some knocks right there, and hopefully getting the finishes. They need to be careful. They're currently getting shot. I think they might be able to get third party from 52 Esports.
A lot of fights going to happen here around the quarry and this area in general. The swamp is highly contested. A lot of terrain is available and a lot of real estate is available right now. You see Adrian sitting in one of the southern compounds. Shots are coming in. Nice. Yellow as well joining that one too. USG Donuts are going to be going out in 18th place. 2 eliminations for them though, so they're going to get a bit of scrap for points, but that is not the amount that they need to be able to secure top 5 spot. Very good for the rest of the teams right now. They're eliminating this early. They're holding on to one of the valuable spots. And here, back-to-back coming out of North America, USA, of course. They are in a good situation. They need to be rotating, though. They have a far, far way ahead of them.
Yeah, I was thinking Donuts was trying to get some easy points right there and ended up backfiring with 52 Esports. Ended up getting that angle for them. Now, I want to see what back-to-back is going to be doing here. I know this is a team, I mean, they're currently not performing to what they would like to be performing. And hopefully, at some point, they'll be able to showcase because they are the only hope of NA. They are back-to-back PMPL NA winners. And here we go. Falcon now finding themselves in the same position that Donuts was just in. And now it's backfiring even more because they have to worry about now 3 teams. Not just Vivo Key, not just 52 Esports. We're also seeing more taking some shots to Falcons. Oh, that's not the way you want to start your day for the team that's currently in the first place.
That's super unfortunate. Diego and the boys from Vivo Key are inside. You can see on the minimap top right, they are on the edge of the new circle. So they are also considering what's going to be our next move. How are we going to get into the next circle? It's very unlikely it's going to end on them. Falcon right now have taken some terrain further into the circle, but they are in a kind of rough spot, hiding behind cars, hiding inside the shacks. A ton north of that, outside the circle, they're going to have to make a macro rotation, try to get into that circle. And the question is, how are they going to fare and how deep are they going to try to get into it? Now, circle here popping very soon. Logos are a little bit big, but we have an idea where most of the teams are. Soul sitting in a very good situation. Vampire sitting in a very good situation. And as you said before, Sev, Enigma Galaxy sitting pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, Enigma Galaxy, I mean, they couldn't have been even more blessed by that circle. Now, are they going to be able to get blessed? I'm pretty sure if they do end up getting blessed, we're going to see some claps. Oh, barely.
A little bit north, but they're on the edge.
Yeah. It works. You can see, you can hear. I told you, we'll be able to hear those claps if they do end up benefiting them. And it's going to be interesting how they're going to be able to contain that spot here as we are able to see another team. I mean, as we do see Team Falcons here taking some shots at other teams. Team Soul is actually in a pretty good spot. They do end up, one of the players does end up getting knocked, but they should be able to pick them up. And Atani Esports, they're going to be in a very hard spot right here.
Yeah, for sure. Joko trying to smoke up, trying to use the utility to try to make sure that they can stay alive here on the edge of the circle, northwestern side. More teams are going to be moving in. 4 rivals on screen currently coming out of Malaysia. They're going to be jumping into the shack. They are in a pretty damn fine spot, quite in the center right now, so they could play that slowly. Now, sold some shots towards TJP, Stalwart too. Oh,
Team
TJP,
Soul.
my... That is so well played here by Team Soul, 7.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing from Team Soul. I mean, I talked about it earlier. This is a team that's taking the aggression. It doesn't matter. I finally feel like they're starting to get more confident with themselves. And this is what I was talking with earlier. This is a team that some of the teams at the top need to be careful with because they are getting confident. We saw what happened to Star Wars Esports. I'll repeat myself because it was just so impressive what they were able to do to the point that Star Wars Esports Twitter account was making memes out of it. And I was loving it. So hopefully we can continue to see those kind of performances from Team Soul and Vivo Kid. They were able to spot one of the players there from Team Falcons, and currently he's hoping that they stop shooting him because there's only 2 players, and look at this. Morph, Atani Esports. I thought Atani Esports here was in a pretty bad spot, and we can see Morph Rocky making the push and trying to engage a little bit closer.
Really good shots coming out of Morph. Fantastic aggression. Rocky hears him. He is Fran. Can potentially take him on right now. Push through that. Shots are coming in. Smokes are being deployed. Rocky potentially could be seeing him. Finds him. France goes down and Morph is advancing on Ayrton.
Yeah, and I saw Choco still alive. I know that's a player that really wants it in. Ultimately, Morph is just too much for Atan Esports. Now we're seeing Team Falcons. Yusuf barely staying alive. We also see Vivo Key trying to pick other players. Cielo. These are players that are very, very aggressive, but as you were saying, they are so skilled from South America, from that Brazilian region, that hopefully, I'm really pushing for them because I'm also South American, so I'm a little bit biased, but I'm really hoping that they can make it to the after party.
All right, Falcons, what can you do here? Yusuf, last player live right now. Cielo is taking him on. He has taken him very low as well. UMP could be pushing into the shack. Yusuf trying to defend it, but he's going to be taken down. That is very impressive here by Vivo Keat. And that means Falcons is going to be going out in 14th place, unfortunately. Also saw Morph going out just before that. Morph did get a good amount of eliminations, so they're going to be racking up some of those points.
And a team that might be quiet is Wildcats right now. They currently have 0 LMs, but they are keeping all their players alive. And for that team, they are sitting in 7th place. And if you're currently looking at this circle, anything can happen. I'm loving what I'm seeing from some of the other teams. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Vampire Esports. They have been there for such a long time that they're hopefully going to have enough of the loot, right? This is one of the things that we saw some of the other teams getting into trouble yesterday with just staying put on just one spot. They were able to, yes, make it towards the final 2 circles, but when they started getting into the engagement, they just didn't have the utility. They didn't have a lot of stuff in regards to meds. And now with this right here, Dan1 Kia couldn't be happier.
Diamond Kia really happy for this. They're looking to try to defend that 5th spot right now, and they're sitting in the center compound in the circle. Right now, a lot of teams are going to be fighting for that Quarry Ridge on that south side of the circle where we see Vampire right now. We have so many teams down there right now. Soul, Reckons, Bucks down there, Stalwart, back-to-back. So many teams are going to be fighting for just, one half of a compound and a little bit of a ridge. So we're not seeing probably more than 1 or 2 teams that's going to be surviving that outcome right there. Also in the north, a lot of teams are going to be fighting for just a little bit of sliver of that fields that we have. Fall Rivals sitting happy inside that shack. They're going to be waiting until later.
Yes, 7 out of our 13 teams right now currently towards the south. We see back-to-back. J7 being able to hit some shots right there. Hopefully his teammates are able to back him up. I think they're going to realize that just they're all grouped up and maybe they'll start shooting those vehicles to get the explosions. We know it has happened. And look at that, Lux getting shot by J7. J7 right now on a tear.
Really nice pick up and Stalwart also on screen. J7 continues to put damage onto Istanbul. Wildcats goes down in 13th place without an elimination. That's going to be a rough one for them. But Stalwart is pushing right now. They're aggressing this. They saw the knocks come out. And they know that J7 potentially could be only one guy because they only heard one player shoot. Pika on the offensive. Can he find J7? Oh, that's a really good Molotov defensive.
That was a great Molotov. J7 able to back up, and I don't think Pico was able to spot him. Polo also able to set himself up behind the rock, getting those angles. And here comes a bit of a push there from, I think it was J-Way trying to push up. You can see J7 wanted to get more into the action. He's able to get one knock. Can he get the finish? He's going to be able to get the finish. Top laying down, and SE actually getting third party from some of the other teams behind. This might benefit back-to-back. Polo is currently down. Top is currently having the height advantage. J7 being able to get some damage there with the nade that he threw. Can he get this knock? Is he going to be able to let Top heal up? And I think he is going to have enough time to heal up.
Top will continue this aggression right now. Let's see if J7 can get another one with this Bison right down hand. Could he make something more happen? Last player for back-to-back. More damage coming in on the utility. That is a really good deny for him. J7 is forced to just move back now. Soul under a lot of pressure from Vampire as well right now. More is coming in from them. Stone finding multiple with the grenades. Utilities be also being deployed from Goblin. This is really well played by Stone. Aggressive. Gets down Hector off the knock. And now he's going to run into the Molotov. That's unfortunate. Goblin finds one, though, returns, but Soul goes down. That's super unfortunate for them here in 9th play, because back-to-back takes the 10th place elimination right there. Vampire has to try to survive. They're under a lot of fire, fighting for this terrain here we were talking about before.
A lot of teams getting knocked, and I'm interested to see how Vampire Esports is going to be able to recoup from that engagement. I know that's a team that stays very calm. They're going to hopefully be able to pick up his player and start the rotation. And guess what? Enigma Galaxy, a team that we were talking about earlier with the circles, they're currently sitting pretty. They're letting all the other teams take into fight, and luckily for them, nobody has pushed them. And same thing with Damwon. I mean, this is a team, 2 out of the current 7 teams. Damwon Kia has 4 players alive. Virtual Gaming Squad also has 4 players alive. But Damwon Kia has just been watching all of this. They haven't had to shoot at least one time, I don't think.
Yeah, and as I was talking about before, only 2 teams survived this mayhem on the southern side. It was Vampire Esports and Stalwart. And as we were saying this before here, Enigma Galaxy were able to take that shack away from 4 rivals. We didn't catch it, unfortunately. But as Seven pointed out here, this is really important for Damwon Kia here. They could be defending this top 5 spot, making it even harder for the teams chasing. Vampire taken down by Song, though. Juni also finding Stone. Ravenclaw gone down too. That is super unfortunate. And Shreps is just the last player that is not knocked at the moment for Vampire.
Vampire just getting very unlucky too there, and I think he was trying to make it farther with that buggy, but he ended up crashing into the vehicle. You can see Stone there just finally getting finished from the zone. And Stalwart Esports, I mean, this is a team. It's been quiet. They did end up just getting one of the players knocked, but they're going to see if they can maybe pick him up. Damwon Kia, they're sitting perfect right now. And as you were saying, Enigma Galaxy currently just has 1 player, but they do have 8 Illims. That's going to be big for them as they are trying to break into that top 5. Vampire Esports trying to make it up, trying to use that smoke wall. And so far, he's barely been able to. You can see VGS getting into some fights over there with 52 Esports.
Yeah, exactly. And Stalwart is going to be trying to survive the situation. Enigma Galaxy actually gone out in 7th place with the eliminations. That was Adrian being able to close that out from Vivo Kid. Important for them. Stalwart right now on the offense, but Shreps is helping this defense that Damwon Kia is trying to set up in the south with all this utility that he's using right now. He's trying to get deeper into the zone, trying to survive for as long as possible, while 52 and Virtual Gaming Squad is fighting for the northern side. As you see here in the distance, a lot of pressure has been put onto 52, but they are right now on their bellies trying to survive. Deployed smokes. Virtual Gaming Squad is moving out on the east side of this compound that Damwon Kia has been able to hold, but Juni is finding another one with a fantastic usage of utility right now. More Molotovs are coming out. Only 3 eliminations for Damwon Kia, but if they can secure this winner chicken dinner, this could be a huge amount of points for them. Top Gun down 2.
You can see Juni right there being able to knock down Top. They are aware of everybody that's going to try to rush him. Screen, ooh, barely getting missed by that nade. And I think Stalwart Esports might be able to recover from this, as they don't really have to worry about that many people. And something that I was currently looking at too is Vivo Kid Adrian. He won that engagement with the last player from Enigma Galaxy. That's going to be huge for this team, because they are trying to hunt down some of the other teams that are out. Wildcats, I mean, I think they're going to end up with 0 points. They've already been out. Morph as well, they're already out. They're going to be able to climb up in a big way when it comes to that overall leaderboard. So great start here from Vivo Kid. And another team, I mean, I feel like they've been a little bit quiet after we talked about their third party earlier. 52 Esports, only 2 Illims, but they do have 3 players alive. And in all the action that we have been seeing here, Avenger, they're just waiting patiently. They're doing, I feel like, what Damwon Kia was doing earlier.
Exactly, and the question is here, with this circle, as you see in the minimap, it's actually only Damwon Kia that is inside, but 52 is the only team on the northern side. Virtual Gaming Squad does have the information on them. They know that they're there up north, and Yafaz is hiding so many shots, so many bullets onto it. Vivo Kid out in 5th place, though, with the eliminations. That's good for them. The question is, how far can Virtual Gaming Squad take this one? And is Damwon Kia going to be able to defend this compound?
Yeah, is Damwon Kia going to have the enough utility to be able to take advantage of all of this? Here we go, Virtual Gaming Squad trying to get different angles. Are they going to be able to break into that? They also have to be careful with Stalwart Esports that was on the other side earlier. I think Stalwart Esports has been able to rotate a little bit more. And now you see 52 Esports getting a bit more involved. Damwon Kia hasn't lost a player. Virtual Gaming Squad still has all their 4 players. This is going to be a great fight. And Stalwart Esports, meanwhile, they're like, okay, you guys take the fight over there. We're going to be sneakily moving up to your compound.
Yeah, 52 definitely just trying to survive, trying to make everything just happen in front of them, because if they can survive a bit longer, they are going to be securing themselves even more points. But no, it doesn't happen. Stalwart says no. They find Taku. Gaddafi steals it. And more shots are coming out towards Pharaoh. I think that's him down as well. 52 out in 4th place with only 2 eliminations, but good amount of points secured through the placements now. Virtual Gaming Squad, 4 guys alive. So is Damwon Kia. Stalwart is the team trying to survive here. Forrest is finding multiple though.
Forrest being able to knock down 2 players right there. That was huge. Damwon Kia Jr. is going to get knocked. Can shot connect with this nade. Here we go. Star Wars Esports now moving into action as well. Damwon Kia getting some of the players now. Virtual Gaming Squad being able to clutch it up as well. Can Star Wars Esports? Oh, Damwon Kia Swung being able to win that 1v1.
Song so well played here. Swap to the barrel after playing with the not having any more bullets with the UMP. Can he make something more happen, or they're going to be taken down? He's pushing out. It's so well played, actually, by Top, securing 2nd place here for Stalwart, but he is alone. And Virtual Gaming Squad has 3 members now, 4 members standing, and they can just push aggressively to secure this win for them.
And I believe in Top. We've seen it before. We've seen some 1-4s. Can he do it?
He does the first one. Can he knock the second one? He's going to take some shots. He is 1 HP. He's ultimately was too much. Virtual Gaming Squad, ladies and gentlemen, being able to get the first win and keeping their dream alive. As I said, we were talking about it. Teams towards the bottom, they are going to be able to try to make a statement here in the last day. They are going to try their best to push towards that top. A 16th place team, I'm pretty sure, they're definitely not going to be 16th place after this match. Great performance, Avenger, from Virtual Gaming Squad on the first game of the last day.
Yeah, so amazing to see Libya being represented here with Virtual Gaming Squad, of course. Super amazing game for them. They have not had the best first 2 days, but if they can continue this trend here, they could be jumping in further top and maybe be within that striking distance of the top 5, as we were hoping so. But a lot of teams that have been doing well so far in the previous 2 days did extremely well as well. Damwon Kia, one of them. And it's super interesting to see here. But we're actually done with this game here. We're going to be going to the desk with the match rankings, sponsored by STC.
No, you guys aren't done. We're actually going to bring you back for analysis. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to bring them back because it's our time to be on the desk, just like it was time for Virtual Gaming Squad to get themselves a chicken dinner coming in from PMPL Africa, able to get themselves 20 points on the match. A fantastic job by them to close things out, but honestly, Maxman and Colaris, there's so many different things we could talk about here. Damwon Kia having almost a god compound for forever, it felt like, as the zone kept shifting on top of them. But they weren't able to close it out.
The thing about Damwon's compound, and we were talking about it with Colaris, like that compound is a godsend if you can get there early and teams are not able to get close, because you just have a little ridgeline on the east and the south that is very nadeable, and Juni really made use of that and got so many limbs off the back of that.
Yeah, that's it's weird, the compound, because as I say, it's strong for the circle, but it has problems. Okay, so none of those buildings are 2-story, so you can't pile all 4 people into one, which means that you can't get angles over other buildings, so you have to stay split 2-2 for as long as they did. That then becomes their downfall, because all of these teams are pushing in at similar times to try and thwart their effort. So as much as Damwon Kia had that center, the way in which we saw VGS as well as Stalwart push in was very appropriate at exactly the right time.
I feel like, to be fair to Damwon Kia, though, they did a really good job initially by keeping everyone at arm's length. They were shooting quite a bit. I think they shot towards Vampire trying to come in, or as a Virtual Gaming Squad, trying to punish them, to say, hey, stay back, don't come at us right away. And then, as you said, Colaris, 2 teams just coming straight at them was too difficult to defend.
It's a bit of a greed play by Damwon Kia. Like, of course, it's difficult to get together from that 2-2 split that we were mentioning here. They tried, I think.
They had like a little bit of a smoke between those buildings, and you really saw the Forest wanted to leave that entire fight and to regroup with 2 other players, but Juni was stuck, so he just wanted to stay in the 2v2.
Yeah.
Well, one team I did want to mention, by the way, was actually going to be 52, the team from Pakistan, 52 Esports, because they were another team in that vicinity. But one thing I do want to criticize them on, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, is they didn't capitalize off that chaos that was being thrown around. When we saw teams starting to push into Damwon, they just kind of sat there. They didn't try to make their move.
You have then the comparison you can make between Stalwart's play and then 52 Esports play. Stalwart, the timing, I would say, was on point. They third-partied VGS versus Damwon Kia in a really good way. The timing was absolutely perfect. And then you have 52 trying to delay the inevitable for the longest time, and then it just kind of crumbled apart because they didn't have zone. Teams saw them. It was going to go wrong. So timing is important on on those third parties.
Where were they coming in? Were they coming in for the west side?
North.
Or north side? North side.
North,
okay.
They were in the fields.
Right, I can't quite remember their exact positioning, so I can't quite comment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've talked, I think the reason I bring that up, right, is that they were unable to get a chicken dinner when it came to PMPL Pakistan throughout the entire event, if I'm not mistaken. These are moves you have to make if you want to elevate your gameplay, right? You have to be able to capitalize off positions like that, off situations like that. And we've talked about it so many times when it came to PMPL Western Europe as well, seeing teams not be able to do that. So at least for them, something to learn. Virtual Gaming Squad coming in from PMPL Africa, a big win for them. They have to be extremely happy. Exactly. And as you said before, Max, they're coming to this event just trying to learn, just trying to improve on their own gameplay. They don't have high expectations of getting, top 5 kind of finish, but they want to use this to go back to PMPL Africa and then go into the next season and hit it hard.
Yeah, they just had their first season in spring of PMPL, right? So you can expect this region as a whole to, keep pushing out new talent, of course. Then now having international experience VGS, that's going to be huge for the next full season of PMPL. Like, you can expect them to maybe get a back-to-back championship. That'll be fantastic for them. But it is very early days for Africa as a whole. So as time goes on, maybe next year, they could be a very serious competitor.
Sure. I could be quite nitpicky, I suppose, with this, given if the fight happened between Damwon Kia and Stalwart did have more than one alive, I would have liked to have seen VGS be a bit more urgent about their push forwards. They were very keen on getting the full res to then push on Stalwart and guarantee 100% the victory, but if you're a top team, I think you're pushing on while that third party is happening and instantly taking them out of the picture straight away without the full force, because you need that urgency about these moments, because otherwise, the other team could recover and have a problem for you.
Let's actually dive a little bit deeper into a head-to-head between Damwon Kia and Stalwart Esports, just get an idea of how their statistics did play out throughout that actual match, because I was maybe hoping for Damwon Kia to get a little bit more eliminations, maybe a little more damage done. I know we were watching, we're like, oh, this is Damwon Kia's game. I know Kalaris he just wanted the but we can see here, damage still relatively well, but that's kind of the what's going to happen when you're in a compound, right? You can't chase to get those eliminations.
It's a lot of peacocking from that area and just saying kind of warning shots almost on getting knocks, and maybe that falls behind a ridgeline and you can't quite convert on that. So that's annoying as well. One thing that does hurt them during being in that compound, especially so early, is that they're probably going in with limited resources. They definitely went in with limited utility, because if they have themselves more nades, more mollies available to them, they should actually probably stop VGS pushing up on that building with underhand nades, underhand mollies to eventually stifle that, and maybe it's a completely different game. But if you spoke to them, I guarantee you they probably had very limited resources to work with.
And an extra issue actually for Damwon is the fact that even if they did get nade, knocks and eliminations from their position, they can't get the crates, right? They can't get that extra loot. So they're cut off from the rest of the lobby, and they just have to work with what they have available at that time.
Yeah, well, actually, even another team I wanted to mention, Reagan's Gaming, because we've been talking a lot about them. They had a phenomenal day yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, they lost 2 players very early on to Donuts USG. And obviously, you can't really afford to go in towards the later stage of the game with only 2 players.
Yeah, and it hurts them too, right? Because Lightning is also a competitor for that MVP title.
Yes,
so you definitely don't want to lose him in particular. He's been a major success, like a major staple player for the team and the success of yesterday.
It's going to be between him and Action still at the end of the day. I do believe so, unless we have a Falcons player pop off completely here from all of this. But yeah, the fact that Stalwart got so many points off this game, RSG now might be sweating a little bit, but I think their fortitude is going to be quite keen to be able to keep them going through, despite this bit of a blip here for the first game of the day.
And I also want to bring up a topic for us to discuss, because you were mentioning, I believe, Kalaris, that Damwon Kia, one of the only top teams that centers up really early. I think we saw Enigma Galaxy, we saw Stalwart Esports, we saw quite a few other teams just playing from the outside of the circle.
No, absolutely. And it's nice to see Damwon Kia playing to what they know is their advantage. In day 1, I don't think we saw much of that. And I think it did hurt them quite considerably. But day 2, they're like, okay, why aren't we doing what we're really good at? Admittedly, you have to have a little bit of circle favor sometimes for this to work out. But the fact that they're able to hold this compound down to the later stages of the game, you're getting your averages. When Damwon Kia gets victories, they're not high elimination victories, but they're so consistently able to get those victories and those high placement points, thirds, podium finishes, etc., that you can eke out wins of tournaments based on that.
And I think we did have quite a lot of criticism for Damwon, like a team that tends to take some time to, evaluate the situation and improve and make changes. And we were criticizing, maybe on a 3-day tournament, is that enough time? Can they make it happen? From day 1 to day 2, night and day. And really, they found something that worked for them in day 2. It works. We found the solution. We cracked the code. Let's keep on going forward.
Well, the code has been cracked, but we still have 5 matches left to go. Really quickly, though, I want to give a shout out to Aramco and Saudi as well here for helping sponsor and making sure this event has happened for us, because it's been a fantastic event so far, to be completely honest. Whether it was just in PUBG Mobile, it's actually happened in quite a few different titles, getting to see what this region has to offer when it comes to competitive esports. And you guys at home, still more things you can win. Maxman, I'm sorry, I know you're a big fan of memes, but you can't win any of these. You guys at home, you are getting memed on, especially by Star Esports' Twitter account. But you guys can put your favorite memes, make sure to tag the official channel so you have a chance to win some lovely prizes. Gentlemen, we know Star Wars Esports are good in game. My question is, are they going to be good when it comes to basketball? But when we come back, you'll never believe what the commentators are going to have to say about Match 2.
I think it was 6. That was pretty decent. It's not the record. But what was the record? 11. 11.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready for match 2 after what we just saw in match 1. I honestly thought Damwon Kia was going to be able to win it, but that didn't end up being the case. And we were actually having a great conversation during that segment in between those matches with when you guys were listening to the desk. I honestly thought that they stay separated for too long. And then you said something really great, which I completely agree with, Avenger, if you want to tell the audience.
Yeah, for sure. I can say that for sure. I mean, there's a situation where you playing compounds, you're in a compound that gets closed in from many angles. You need to take control of one side of the compound here. And the situation that Damwon Kia could have turned it around was take control of the western side after they killed Vivo Kids Adrian. Then they could have swept on the south, taking away Stalwart, and then taking a virtual gaming squad on that had crashed the house, and they would have a ridge to play off of, and that would actually have been one of the only ways to approach that compound to win, because that often happens, Seven, is that you have these teams that get a center compound and they stay in it for too long because it's safe and secure, and then you have all these other teams that are crashing the compounds that can play off the walls and off the edges of the house and have that advantage. But we are ready soon here with game number 2. We are at PMWI 2022 here in Riyadh, live for you, and we're going to be playing Miramar, and I'm extremely excited to get this one kicked off. It's going to be the last Miramar for you and me, my friend, here in the main tournament, and it's my favorite map. Long rotations, a lot of strategy, and I'm a strategist myself. I love these approaches that these players are able to have here.
Yeah, I love this. You get your favorite map, and then I'm going to end up getting my favorite map after this one too, which is going to be absolute madness. But, I mean, it's going to come down to the first circle that we get, right?
Exactly, and also the first playing path.
Yes.
It's really south here, 7. That is going to be rough for a lot of the teams playing north, and also if we get a rough circle, if we get a northern one, it's going to be really hard for those rotations to come out from the very get-go here.
Yeah, but for Damwon Kia, I mean, if they do end up getting a south circle, there's a team that usually tends to be a little bit more towards the south west. It might end up benefiting them. And another team, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Vampire Esports or TJB EU. That's a team that actually likes to go a lot to the west and south. So it's going to be interesting what the first circle is going to be. And with Damwon Kia, I was hoping that they would win, especially when they ended up knocking those 2 players from VSG. I was like, okay, maybe now the other 2 players that were on the other house are going to decide to push, maybe set up some smoke to try to make that transition. It didn't happen, and I think ultimately that's what ended up costing them that game. But for Star Wars Esports, what a game, honestly.
Yeah, it was
not a win, but impressive.
And especially the pressure because they came off from that high ground, right? They had so many fights ahead of them. They were trying to push in here. But now let's jump to and see what's going to be happening here. I remember a lot of teams have already jumped out. You see on the northeastern side, you have Donuts, the USG guys, Vampires out, 4 Rivals is out. The Simple Wildcats uncontested in Impala, and we actually get a southern shift that's actually quite nice. I'm personally hoping for it to end around south of Chimasera, maybe all the way down towards Minas. That could be quite crazy. Or, even closer towards Valdemar. I really love how that's southwestern side. The terrain is so lovely down there. So many dips and divots that you can play off. A lot of compounds on the high ground that could be fought for. But yeah, Minas del Valle could be interesting. Chimasera could be really interesting.
Yeah, well, we're seeing that. We have actually already lost a player. Team Falcons was able to eliminate a player from Star Wars Esports. I don't know how that happened. Hopefully, we will be able to watch that replay. But now this is Team Falcons. This is a confident boost that you need, especially after that performance in the previous game. I mean, 14 plays, only 1 ill, not the way they wanted to start. And I'm pretty sure they ended up losing that lead to Star Wars Esports. And I think it's going to be close. It's going to be even better for Team Falcons because they just ended up eliminating the team that they are going up against for that first place. So you couldn't write it any better.
It could be so good to see if they're able to capitalize on that situation for sure. But Reckons and Atan fighting here potentially in Los Leones. Let's see what's going to happen with that. They are really close to each other. Bruno doesn't look like he has any weapons at all. Could be just hiding, trying to get help from one of his teammates. Vampire in a good situation. They're big chilling here right now. They're going to be completely fine. And of course, you can complete daily missions here to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, you can tap on the reward icon and claim the corresponding reward as you just saw on screen.
Yeah, and while you're at it, I mean, there's going to be PMWI gun skins. There's a sale period between August 4th and August 13th. There's going to be 50% off of PMWI packs. Get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests. And while you're at it, between August 4th and August 13th, all users in the region of the top 3 teams will have a chance to win a prize, maximum of 1 award per user.
Yeah, exactly. You can obviously check much more of that out in-game while you are playing. But right now, we are focusing on the games. Reckons right now fighting a ton. The Chinese team, and of course, a ton coming out of Latin America. The Mexico guys are going to be having a little bit of a rough time because all the Reckons guys already have guns. Okay, Bruno actually has a UMP as well. I see a Micro Uzi 2, so the Texas with a UMP, and Fran with a Micro Uzi. So close quarters combat is definitely an advantage for a ton in this situation here. The first guy potentially going to be meeting anyone could be Bruno. He looks like to be the front man. Choco already is taking a little bit of damage. Reckons are playing very closely knitted together here. You can see them moving together as a squad, and that's what I really love. That accuracy of being completely next to each other will mean that there's going to be re-knocks happening, and you're going to be having to get your revenge immediately. Damoki on screen too, coming out of Korea, of course.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pointed out there with RSG being able to play so close together because what I saw there from the setup, Tani Esports, I mean, Santa Texas was a little bit too far back from me. I don't know what kind of angle he was trying to get there, but if RSG did decide to engage him, I feel like it would get him a little bit too long. It will take him a bit too long to actually get to help out his teammates. So interested to see what's going to happen. I mean, it is going to be one of the top 3 teams going up against one of the bottom teams. So if RSG can get those points, or if Atan Esports can spoil the party for RSG, a lot of stuff could change in the leaderboard, and I'm pretty sure Kalaris, Maxman, and also Jason are going to be loving that.
Yeah, in general, just anything with numbers, anything that these guys can dive into, they love that. It's just crazy to see. They're sitting in there in the green room for the talents. They're just like, there's papers everywhere. It's just flowing around with numbers. So we just like, we're just coming here to cast the game, see what's happening in the action. But they're just focusing on every single numbers and digits here to see who's going to be the top 5, who's going to win, who's going to get all the MVP rewards as well.
And right, look Goblin. At this. Goblin, being the sneaky fella that he is, as some of his teammates do, 3 of the teammates from Team Soul do end up pushing forward. Is going to come down to who's going to get the first knock. Hector, they know exactly where some of these players are going to be at. Hector getting that grenade ready. Who's going to be able to throw the first nade out? Ooh, Hector not being able to get it. And guess what, Skirt from TJB being able to get the first knock.
I love what I'm seeing from them already. Chility being put out here in the tower of the church, close to Chimacera. It's a really high priority situation for these guys right now. It is dead center in this next circle here. Hector pushing in with the UMP. Little one helmet, little one vest. But he's going to try to get the rest off on Omega. Kist, Tingsker, they are close to each other, trying to defend this. Utility could be thrown.
And they are going to make that push forward.
They are pushing it aggressively. Tingsker goes down.
Team Soul being able to trade at least one out there. Now, this is the time where the other players from Team Soul need to be able to push that. You can see Asha trying to actually do that, but he needs to be careful with Lin because he's now being able to hold that angle.
Yeah, exactly. Lin is holding that defensive angle, so Soul cannot push straight into the tower. And they're going to get the rest of this off. Omega's going to bleed out, and that's a huge advantage to TJB in this situation here. They are going to be keeping all members alive of the team, and Team Soul is going to go down to 2. Tingsker goes down. That's a huge one for them, though. Goblin comes in. Oh my god, this is a huge turnout for Soul. Goblin playing extremely well. Can they get Lin down too? Multiple shots coming in. He's actually getting so low. Kiss pushing out too. Goblin is going to be able to return it too. Lin goes one more down. And it's actually Soul that's going to be ending out going down completely. And TJP looks like they're going to be able to pull up all 4 members from this situation here.
Goblin almost being able to take the fight there to Lin. He got him, I think he got him maybe to like 5 HP. What a fight there from Team Soul. I honestly, at that moment, I thought it could have gone anywhere. And by the way, look at this. I do want to point this out. Star Wars Esports ended up losing one of the best players, if not one of the best players so far in this tournament action. That is going to be massive.
It's going to be huge for them to be losing him out here. They're obviously one of the top guys fighting with Lightning currently for the top elimination spot. Much damage is also coming out for these guys. They're, I think, before this game started, they were 1,000 damage ahead of that 3rd place. So they're really fighting head-to-head in that situation. Reckons has gone down with 1 player, Double D.
Here you go, Choco trying to get some shots into the player that's knocked down. He's not going to be able to connect with any. Is Atan Esports going to decide to push this? If there was ever a time, this might be the time. But something that we mentioned earlier is how spread out the players from Atan Esports currently at. I mean, you can see how close all the 4 players from RG are, but I'm only seeing 2 players from Atan Esports. And I'm actually not seeing anybody trying to get some angles. They're actually trying to just push up. And just now, just up to this point, you're going to start seeing some of the other players. Here we go. Lightning being able to get the knock there on Chaco. Chaco going to get so unlucky, and now he completely turns it around for them. RG is going to be able to get some angles on Atan Esports, and now Atan Esports is going to be defensive.
And exactly, and it's Lightning again here, putting more eliminations up 7. It's crazy. More damage. This guy's just racking it up every single game. It's impressive to see. Atan looks like to be disengaging from this fight here, and as we see, more teams are moving in. Circle's going to be popping very shortly, and I'm really hoping for a Southwestern shift in this situation here. Oh, Los Leones ending. Oh, it could be going somewhere in the middle, though. We'll see if it goes some hard shift towards the west of the east later. Right now, though, TJP looking pretty damn good. We are in a situation where some of the high ground compounds and the churches that TJP fought for is actually quite high priority. So let's see if they're going to be breached right now. They are splitting very hard on the compounds. I see at least 3 players, different locations for TJP. So could be a little bit too greedy. Bucks moving in, Damonkey moving in as well, and they could potentially be breached.
Yeah, and I was just noticing action there with the 32 elims. Oh. That's what I was mentioning. Oh, don't run over your teammate. It is possible, by the way, to run over your teammate if you do switch seats or get out of the car. Don't tell your teammates I told you this, though. I don't want to be the one that's guilty for people starting to team kill in game. And here we go, Box Gaming. Being able to pick up the teammate that was down. TJB feeling hot after that engagement that they have earlier. They already have 4 elims under their name. You can see Skirt there getting some damage. And Xiao, is he going to be able to get this knock? He is going to back off a little bit, though. He does have the boost going for him, and he should be able to get this knock if he's able to just step to the side. Trisme, though, with a beautiful nade. Getting the knock.
Huge for them. Oh, now, my God, break. Takes down Bensu with that Molotov. That's just not fortunate. But let's see who can turn this situation around. TJB right now with the upper hand. They are kind of closing them in, holding them out of this. Nades are coming out. Trisme could potentially get another one. Kissed, actually. That is super well played by them. They're pushing out Box now on the offensive. The Sabu, what can happen here with this? 4-man strong break.
Too much of Box Gaming for that team and Lin. Now it comes down to Lin. Is he going to decide to engage or is he going to decide to back off? Box Gaming hunting him down. They're going to go for it. They're able to spot Lin. Lin is able to get one knock, but ultimately Box Gaming is just too much for TJP. But I mean, TJP, you did end up getting some points. Box Gaming, though, now being able to get 4 points, and they get to keep everybody alive.
And this leaves so much open space because they're occupying everything in the center. They left the church, they left another compound that was in the center as well. So right now they're obviously hoping to have stayed and maybe in the church. And other teams have now decided to take over that. Here, the replay that we saw with TGP and Seoul, they do go out with 4 elimination points, but with the terrain that they had, the real estate that they had inside the circle, they could have been a much better situation for them if they stayed there rather than going offensive onto Box.
Yeah, they could have been, but I think it's just that they were feeling themselves. Okay, that's what happens when you end up getting one of those teams eliminated. They went up against Seoul. Seoul ended up not getting that win, and guess what? TJP was like, okay, let's start pushing people. It backfired, but hey, it is what it is. At least you tried, TJP. That's all we expect out of you, for you to try.
There's so many teams on the east, on the edge and on the ridges of Los Leones. They're really hoping for this circle to go east. A lot of teams coming in on the northeast as well. So the question is, where does this next circle go? We're going to see shortly. Damwon Kia and Nick McGalaxy, two of the only teams on the west and southwest side. So that could have a huge advantage for that one. Let's see where it pops, though. 52 on the south together with Virtual Gaming Squad. Back has taken the Church of Chimacera. And Vivo Kid is just on the northern side. 7. Where are you hoping this one goes?
Los Leones.
Oh, it goes
it goes down the middle.
Oh, it's just the least hype circle we could have. But it means, so if at this exact situation here, there's so many teams coming in from the east and west, and there's already some good teams that are having some of these compounds. There are not that much real estate available, so it needs to be taken early.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking at Name Galaxy. I think they're going to try to flank around to the south and try to push their way up. They need to be careful because they might end up closing in by 52 Esports and Damwon Kia. Remember, Damwon Kia, I said it earlier, this is a team that tends to play on the south a lot, and they're going to continue to play towards that south portion of the circle. And now everybody just rotating. I think Atan Esports still going to be on those buildings that we saw them earlier when they ended up losing Chaco. We saw RSG. I don't think they have lost any of the players. No, they haven't lost any of the players. They were able to pick up that player that was knocked by Atan Esports, so they're able to refresh themselves. And with what's crazy to me is that usually we play with 16 teams. In this tournament, in the PMWI 2022 here in Saudi Arabia, we're playing with 18. And right now there's 16 teams, 62 players still alive in this circle. That's just wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's exactly the effect you have from playing these 18 teams. Teams are trying to get into a good situation here. Right now, we have a ton on the screen that have spotted out Virtual Gaming Squad. They are on the outskirts of Los Leones, fighting basically for terrain that is not going to be viable in the next circle or two. So the question is, do they take the fight on if they get a knock? Do they get an opening, or are they just going to try to put out some more damage? Fran right now, they obviously has lost Choco, as you were talking about, so I don't see an offensive move coming out from a ton in this situation. Istanbul Wildcats and Fall Rivals close to each other too here, 7.
Yeah, and with Wildcats, I mean, this is a team that when we started today, I think they were in 7th place. They are going to continue to stay within that, so they might play a little bit patient. And from what you were saying there with the Tani Esports, they did end up losing Chaco. I think if they were to get a knock, they were just going to cause some more damage and wait to see where the circle is going to end up, because I think they were inside that circle. For Rivals, honestly, a team that I expected a lot more of. They're currently in 10th place with 89 points. I'm hoping that within this last 4 matches that we're going to have after this one, we might see some flashes of greatness out of that team. You can see Wildcats right there, Luck 666, having to move out. And Ray getting shot by Lappy. And guess what? You were talking about Atani Esports. Are they going to push if they get a knock? 4 Rivals might actually make that push.
Yeah, for sure. They are on the edge here on the ridge of the northeastern side. They're actually going to back off. This means that they now Istanbul Wildcats, they have to use time to rest. They have to use time to use some of this healing here. So they're taking away some of this pressure utility and healing items. Next circle is going to pop shortly, and I can basically not see the map, but I know we're in Miramar. I see there's a little bit of space in between Vampire and Wolf in this situation, but the logos is obviously huge for this situation, and I know we're just west of Los Leones. We have a lot of open high ground that actually shifts towards here, just east of Chumacera. That is really interesting. We have a huge apartment complex compound that could be an interesting fight as well.
I need to go have a conversation with M1 Kia because right now, my goodness, they are just getting absolutely blessed with the circles.
And the turnaround from day 1 to day 2 has just been so impressive. It's really good to see them, especially with the last game as well. They were not able to win it, but they got a huge chunk of change of points from that one. Right now in 4th place overall. They're putting distance between themselves and the other teams that are trying to chase to get into the top 5 so they can get to the after party where they're fighting for $1 million after having fought in this weekend here for $2 million.
Yeah, and I'm currently looking at the map. There's so many teams still towards Los Leones. I mean, we have Wildcats, we have a ton. We got RSG, Virtual Gaming Squad, USG. And I am looking towards the south, Enigma Galaxy. This is a team that needs to make a push towards the circle because once all the other teams decide to push in, it's going to be absolute chaos.
And I guarantee you right now, TJB is so sad that they didn't stay inside the church that back-to-back right now have. We are seeing Wildcats with some shots onto Reckons. That is really great shots coming out from X-Ray onto Double D. That means that Wildcats, they are going to be moving aggressively. This is super important for them. The guys coming out of Turkey, aggressive pushes coming in. We're going to be jumping over to 4 Rivals that could be taking Falcons on right now. Malaysia fighting versus Saudi Arabia.
And if I'm Falcons, I'm just going to back away from this fight. This is a fight that you do not want to have. You're so far out of the circle, and you're a team that's currently in the top 2. You're fighting for that win. Please ignore this and get your butts to this circle. By the way, Wildcats, I love the aggressives. You saw them, and we're seeing them on the Illim feed. I mean, Wildcats, they are getting third party by Atani Esports, but they want those Illims, and guess what? RSG right now getting eliminated by Lugs. Lightning is down. GC,
last player.
He might. Let's see if he can maybe clutch that. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it?
Could be a good one.
Oh, no.
Not enough damage. And Wildcats are looking to recoup from this situation here. Can they get the revives off? Can they get the first aids pop off before GC does more? Defoe takes down the Lightning player here for Regan's top fragger currently. And X-Ray gets the first vehicle elimination, as you see on the left side there. GC still. X-Ray going down, actually to send a text at the third party work for a ton, and they're going to be moving in aggressively in this situation too. They know that they're hurting. They saw the fight with Reckons going on in the kill feed.
Yeah, Enigma Galaxy right now, we're currently not able to see it on the screen, but they are losing some players in a fight that they're getting in between with Virtual Gaming Squad. And they need to be careful, too, because 52 Esports might be in the horizon for them. GC staying quiet. Is he going to be able to get away with this? And is he going to try to get any knocks? I think he's going to play it safe. And if I'm him, I'm actually going to just wait a little bit longer until I can get one knock and confirm it. But he needs to make those decisions quickly because he is going to be in the zone, and that zone is going to start hurting, and he's going to have to move quickly. Right now would be the time. If you're going to take a shot, right now would be that time. As we go to Falcons, Falcons going to be able to get this knock. They're not. Lappy's able to win it. Falcons really needs to win this fight. How are they going to be able to recover from it? Damar shooting up the car, making sure that nobody's there.
And at least the Wildcats go out early. Oh my god, the Molotovs coming all over the place here. Falcons trying to make the best out of this situation, get the points that they're able to do. Damar goes down. That's super unfortunate. Yusuf and Powerful, last 2 players, and they're now outside the blue. On the other side, we have Vampire waiting, but 4 Rivals. Pembroo is going to try to get the best out of this, get the points confirmed for this situation.
And while all of this is happening, I'm trying to figure out what Star Wars Esports is doing because they only have 1 Ilum. They do have 3 players, and that is a team that is going to be paying close attention to what happens with Falcon. Vivo Keyed eliminated by back-to-back, but this is just such an important fight. I think Team Falcons is going to be able to pick up Damar, which that is going to be great, but Baru 7 from 4 Rivals just waiting patiently, and as you mentioned earlier, Vampire Esports is going to be waiting after this fight. They need to make some decisions quickly, and here comes the smoke. Here's going to come the push from Team Falcons. Is he going to be able to get the knock? He is going to be able to get the knock in the finish. Powerful. Getting that knock in GC, getting the knock against Frenzy. Look at all of this. There you go. Being able to secure some extra points for his team as they were almost eliminated earlier.
That's so unfortunate for Morph to lose a player like that in that situation to Reckons. That could have been a good game for them, but now they're down to just 3. Let's see if they can do something more about it. GC finds Rocky 2. Reckons just destroying the games of multiple players. Falcon, Yusuf finding Stalwart. Virtual Gaming Squad out there also in 13th place.
And this is going to be such a
fight too.
This is going to be such a hard push here for the Falcons. Just hope that nobody shoots you. You don't have any smokes. You already used most of your utility earlier. Vampire Esports is going to be winning. There's a lot of teams that are going to have many angles on you, so hope that nobody pops the tires on that buggy and just try to go for it. You can see Vampire Esports waiting. They know that there's a team that's going to try to make that push. Luckily for that nade, not getting anybody from Team Falcons, but I feel like that vehicle is going to get a little bit damaged, and now it's time to start zigzagging. And you are currently shooting at Software Esports. You need to worry about back-to-back because back-to-back currently has all the 4 players. And unluckily, Yusuf not able to make it, but one of the other players was able to make it. I wonder if he's going to be able to get in the right location, and the Mark is going to try to make it over there too. As powerful. Currently trying to heal up, and here you go, kill switch. Can he get it? Oh, no. They do blow up the car. It was just such a hard rotation for Team Falcons.
But I would really love to see them drive at the same time, so they would have had multiple targets to shoot at, rather than taking a car at the time. That makes it easier for back-to-back. And now it leaves Falcons just with powerful left. But he is sitting under the high ground. He could potentially recoup a little bit of the points later. They have 5 eliminations already, and they're guaranteed top 10 as Regens goes out in 11th place here with 4 eliminations.
Yeah, and with Team Falcons, that's just going to be a hard spot right there for Powerful. He's going to be so exposed if for some reason Vampire Esports does decide to look that way, or Star Wars Esports decides to look that way. He's just going to play it patient, try to not make any noise, and he's currently doing the right thing. We do see a ton of Esports. Hey, they lost that player earlier in the game, but they are still being able to stay alive. We see Box Gaming going up against USG Donuts. Look at what's happening right now. Donuts only have 1 player alive. And Powerful, as I was saying, it was just such a hard spot for him to be there. Vampire Esports ultimately ends up looking that way, and they do end up getting that finish.
Yeah, and next Chocolat's pop as well. As you can see on the minimap top right, we see multiple teams trying to get into a better angle right now. Vampire looking really strong. Stalwart too, but back-to-back is pushing. They could be taking this fight to Stalwart and try to take some of that terrain. We're going to see multiple teams on the fight on the south side try to get into the circle too. Box, Atan, Morph, Damwon, Kia are all going to be fighting for just a little bit of a terrain that maybe can accommodate only 1 team.
In this fight, if they're going to make a fight right here, Vampire Esports and Star Wars Esports, they need to hurry up because now back-to-back has made that rotation, and they're going to be looking third party. And look at that right there. One of the players from back-to-back, Killswitch, being able to get the knock on Star Wars Esports. J-Way. Come on, J-Way. Let's see what you can do with this grenade. Are you going to be able to hit on anything? I don't think that's going to hit anybody. But yeah, just, saying, hey, don't go that way, okay? That's pretty much what that nade was. Damn, Kia does have 2 players currently in knock. You can see 52 Esports as well. Box Gaming, they do have all their players up, and they currently do have 6 Ilms. Forrest trying to make that push. And oh, Pika. Is Pika going to be able to... Oh, Pika just gets spotted by Vampire Esports. Gets that elimination. You can see here a replay of what happened earlier between PSG and Enigma Galaxy. And wow, freak. Okay. That's really impressive. And that's some points that your team definitely needs.
And Damwon Kia lost 2 players. And again, as we're talking about, as I was saying before, they are fighting for this terrain that can max accommodate 2 players back-to-back already inside the zone, defending this push from them. Vampire also defending the push from Atan. More shots are coming towards Fran. He goes down as well. And now it's just send a Texa to Atan that is going to try to survive this situation.
And here we go. J-Way still alive. He does have Forrest right there. J-Way hops in the vehicle and somehow is able to escape that Forrest. Not able to get the shots, but they are going to know that he's going to be coming. How is back-to-back going to be able to recover? Do they actually know that Forrest is there? There you go. They're able to get that Ilum. They're able to get that extra points. Back-to-back, the hope of a nay. I think it's going to be really hard for them to make it to the top 5, but they're about to take a fight to Vampire Esports, and this is going to be huge. Are they going to be able to win this? Killswitch currently not full healed, but guess what? Vampire Esports does have some players that are not full heal either. J7 playing it very slow, being the anchor for his team, and Fluke being able to heal up. 52 Esports eliminated.
6 plays, 3 eliminations to them. Vampire looking really strong in this situation. Also back-to-back, 4 guys strong on both of those teams. Box have been suffering a little bit from that, trying to get into this little dip here. They have this to work with. The question is, can they take this further?
Something that I love that I'm seeing right now in the minimap is that Vampire Esports does have a great player in Stone. He has a great angle, and they're going to have just that ledge full of cover. They're going to be able to position themselves inside the zone. Vampire Esports is going to have a big upper hand here, especially with that ledge that they have. Nobody's going to be able to see him. And you can see Box Gaming is going to have to push into back-to-back. Can back-to-back hold up Box Gaming? And I see a player there from Morph as well as Cinetexa from Atan Esports being able to get the knock.
Yeah, huge for them to push in. And there's so many teams that are going to be pushing into the south, or from the south side into the circle. And the south can only maintain one team. There's not much space for this. Atan and Box is fighting. Isn't Texas able to do multiple things here? And that means that Box is going to go down in 4th place. Morph also went out in 5th.
Box not able to make it, but a great push there from Atan Esports. Cinetexa, one of the veterans when it comes to PUBG Mobile Brazil. He has a lot of experience with this kind of tournaments. And here we go, Vampire Esports back-to-back. How are they going to be able to do this? Atan Esports eliminated. It is going to be a 4v4. Who's going to get the first knock? Back-to-back. J-Wood being able to get the first knock. They're currently trying to get some angles. Polo, you can see Polo in the back just healing up. They are both currently waiting, trying to get angles. J7, this is going to be huge for his team if he is able to get the angle and get the knock on the team, on the player from Vampire Esports that's in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. And as you're pointing out here with this Rich here, this is huge. The question is who gets the next benefit. We have one more circle to be popped, and it's going to decide basically who gets the advantage here in the last part of the game. We are up to a 4 versus 4. It's rare to see in this situation here, but shots are coming out from Killswitch. Back-to-back could make something happen here and there, and I already have 9 eliminations as well. Your heart is pounding right now at 7. You're hoping for the best outcome for your boys.
You can't see my smile, but I have a big smile, okay? I'm hoping that they do get at least a chicken dinner here just for some bragging rights for NA, even if they do somehow end up being in last place, which if they get the win, it's not going to happen. Come on. I believe in them. Can they pull this off? And guess what? The circle goes in favor of...
Yeah, that's a great question.
I think
it's kind of the center. It's kind of shared. Right? It's kind of shared. I would say Vampire might be a little bit closer, but it's very shared. It's very much in the open space here of the middle. There's a dead tree, a crate that could potentially be inside. The question is, when back-to-back comes off from this top side ridge, they're going to have a really hard time aggressing onto Vampire. The team that wins this game is the team that is using the best utility here, makes the best amount of smokes, and I really want to see from back-to-back to offensively smoke off the ridge that Vampire has. Then they can take the advantage away from Vampire.
You can see Polo trying to make a move. If Polo is able to locate himself, there you go. He is able to locate himself. You are going to have J-Way. Right now, the way back-to-back is set up, and I don't think Vampire Esports actually has that much utility because of all the other fights that were taking on earlier. This is going to be a great fight, and it's actually going to come down to the first. Now you can see Killswitch right there hopping off. If I'm you, Killswitch, I'm going to just pop off all the tires from that bus and just use it as coverage. You can see they reposition themselves a little bit closer there. Now they're going to be inside the circle. I'm going to just get a chance and assume of that. J-Way is going to have an angle. He is going to be able to see him. J7 missing some shots. He needs to be able to connect with this, and I think he might just get a chance to move up to that tree. He might not be able to, actually.
Vampire soon might be forced off this ridge here. That's the only advantage they have at the moment. Fluke take a lot of damage. J7 takes down Fluke, but is traded quickly by Shreps.
And there's nobody with utility at this moment. If not, we would have seen some nades falling. J-Way does get spotted. Ravenclaw. There you go. J7 exploding in a car. Two players from Vampire Esports currently down. Polo, this is one of the MVPs of an A. Can he get this clutch? Polo with the AKM. 1v1. He gets some shots. Can he get the other ones? Come on, the hope of an A. Polo, can you get this shot? Yes! Back to back. Able to clutch the win, ladies and gentlemen. 28 points for them, and that's going to feel so good for that team that was in last place. And I mean, what were we talking about earlier, Martin? We said it. Some of the teams at the top need to be careful. The teams at the bottom are going to try to showcase their skills, are going to try to showcase what they got, what they're here for a reason, and try to steal some points from the top 5 teams.
And also, they're going to push themselves so far up the leaderboard with this situation here. Much more prize pool available for them, of course, coming in with this situation. Super well played by back-to-back here. Love what we saw from Vampire, though. I feel like that utility we saw in the end, if that could have been delayed a little bit, it could have made a huge difference, but there was just nothing left.
Yeah, and I mean, if we go back to it, remember when Team Falcons as well was trying to make that push out of that road, you can see Vampire Esports was using a lot of grenades, a lot of smokes too, so ultimately ended up just hurting them in a big way.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to have one more game to cast you and I. It's going to be sound like your favorite map, but we are going to go to a very short break. But stay tuned. Once we get back, the desk will tell you exactly what you've been thinking about all this time.
NA.
DNA.
مع التحديث الجديد لستي سي بلاي تجربة جديدة للكل. لو جوك دايم تحديات نافس وانضم للبطولات، استكشف الشات والتايم لاين وتسوق من متجر التطبيق. الليدر بورد على تفاعلك بالتطبيق، والجوائز الأسبوعية والشهرية على نظام النقاط تنتظرك. ستي سي بلاي، مهما كان جوك هذا محلك.
Yeah, welcome back. Nice indeed. As back-to-back take themselves a chicken dinner. Before we can fully dive into this match, though, Sony Xperia, the 1-4, made in collaboration with professional esports players to help bring you the best smartphone for your gaming experience. Also, the official smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile. Gentlemen, North America, let's go, boys. I'm the only American here. They're on the map. The question is how far they moved to the standings, but before we can even get to that, let's take a look at our match rankings.
That's what Americans
brought to you
do,
by
right?
STC. Yeah,
Boxing
exactly.
And other things. Yay, America.
I mean, we are the back-to-back baseball champions of the world, football champions of the world.
The World Series,
wow.
exclusively containing American teams. Yes. Only Americans can call it the World Series.
Exactly.
Anyway.
But back-to-back, 28 points, right? We've been talking about them towards the bottom of the table. If I'm not mistaken, they were actually the bottom of the table. Yes, they were. But this is a big win for them, and a much-needed win. Again, there's still a lot of prize money to be won. Realistically, for them to move up the leaderboard and get top 5, probably not realistic, or I can say with confidence it is not realistic.
I don't like saying impossible. Almost impossible. right there. I don't expect that to happen. But as you said, still some extra money to win for these guys. And you're in a position where I think a lot of the teams at the bottom have nothing to lose, right? You just go out there, get those eliminations, get those extra placement points. If you can get a win, perfect. But I think that should be the focus from a lot of the teams at the bottom of the rankings.
Well, I think the excellent thing about this tournament structure as well is that actually the bump ups in prize pool, almost every single place, is quite significant. Yes. So there is still a significant amount for these teams to play for. For back-to-back getting 28 points, that's effectively almost a third of some of the team's points they're pushing up towards, right? Sure. So that's a big win to be able to get them back on the road again here, and coming in from that west side and actually having full dominant control over it. That bodes well for them in the next coming games.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about J-Way and J7, the positions they were playing towards the final areas there, up against Vampire Esports. Some really good off angles being held, Max.
Yeah, it was actually really close between all of these teams, but the one angle that I thought was very interesting was not back-to-back, it was actually Mike, also known as Stone in Game, right, that is playing for Vampire Esports, yes. And the moment that circle started closing up, he could not play on that off angle anymore, and they were just playing from one singular angle, and that allowed the entirety of back-to-back to start pushing and flooding that area.
That's it, right? I mean, when you look at the two positions that these teams had, yes, technically Vampire, they have that ridge line to be able to work with, but when the circle constricts the way it does, all 4 players have to be on the same angle, meaning that back-to-back has far better angles to work with on just one solid location, as opposed to having to deal with all 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, of the other angles from back-to-back.
And that's the interesting point, right? We talked about it yesterday. If you get still a bit of utility at the end, like one nade there, you're done. That's pretty much like hold on to the nades until the late game. It's important.
Yeah, very
To be fair, I think it was J7 that actually blew up the vehicle and knocked Mike or Stone down. If I'm not mistaken, towards the end, right?
He
just shot it. Yeah,
he was knocked by the time, so it was somebody else, I think. But
was it?
It's by the by. Yeah,
All right.
he was. So J7 was knocked, and he was moving forwards.
See,
for
I thought I saw that as well, but maybe it was J-Way then.
Someone in the back said it was J7. It wasn't J7. He
You don't want
crawled
to call him out.
forwards.
He's not calling out one of the
I don't
casters
care.
who said it.
He crawled forwards for information, which is actually extremely important. When you get knocked, if there's no chance of rezzing you, crawl forwards, try and see exactly where they are, so then you can relay to your information to your team exactly where to fire.
Or take a look at our highlights by Sony. Another team we have to touch on really quickly. Reagan's Gaming, not faring too well. Team Falcons as well, not faring too well. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these top 5 teams go out early. Damwon Kia able to make the front page, though, of our match standings brought to you by STC, so they're able to help climb up the leaderboards a bit more.
Yeah, I really have the impression in this third and final day here for the main tournament, at least of PMWI, teams are willing to go that extra step, right? Go extra aggressive to maybe change their rotation a little bit. Like, they are willing to make that change to, as you said already, Kalash, like, try and get that extra prize pool in the rankings. Like, that should be the focus at the bottom. Not focusing for top 5, that is out of the question. Focus on that prize pool increase. 1, 2, 3 extra places. That's a really huge amount of money that can be coming your way.
If you want to touch on the money aspect of it, right? 18 plays gets $15,000.
Yeah.
16 plays gets $20,000. That's already $5,000 extra.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's massive. And then you look up towards the higher ranks, right? I mean, you look at, let's just say 13th place, which is $27,500. If you're getting up to 9th, you're almost doubling up to $40,000. Like, it's a lot of money for these teams.
In one day here at this tournament, it's not out of the realms of possibility that you do have a few banger games back to back. And we saw it from RSG yesterday, moving from 9th to 2nd or 3rd or something like that. But the fact that that is doable and capable here on the international stage shows that you can move up hugely in terms of the money earnings overall here for PMWI.
Well, speaking of overalls, we're going to look at overall standings in just a second, but I once again need to give a shout out here to Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib, again, one of the sponsors to make sure this event is possible, and of course, make sure we can see this awesome competition between our 18 teams here. And, of course, our team's coming up next week. But let's take a look at overall standings, get an idea of where the teams currently do stand. Keep in mind, first place, $500,000. We're going to take a look at the second page, or the last page, to make it spicy. We're going to go the opposite way. I was like, Box Gaming, what happened? How did they get first place? But top 5 as well gets into the after-party showdown happening next week. But we can see here, back-to-back was last place. I believe they were at the start of the day, 38 points, just about, if I could use my memory correctly. Yes, 38 points. Well, I'm a genius. And we have been able to move up to 16th place. I mean, they can still climb. I mean, look what? Sorry to cut you off there. 21 points between 16th and 11th. Like, realistically, they could see themselves top 10.
One more big win would do it. Like, just pushing them up there with all of this being said. I mean, the fact that they had 10 placement points before this game across 12, 13 games, in fact. Bit of a disaster. So now seeing them, as I say, back on the road again, I'm hoping to see we get them pushing on up there.
And we saw with how much of a lead the top teams currently have, like there's that sponge coming into play very heavily. A lot of the top teams are getting very little points every single game. So one banger game, you can be up there. And as you said, for back-to-back there already, Jason.
Definitely.
They could make it up there. Though I'm looking on this page, if I could say I would like to see a team way higher, it is Donuts. I do think that, once again, we have 2 MVPs in this tournament from their region. You have Top from Star Wars, and you have Naoto from Donuts USG. And these last 2 days, they've just been pretty much invisible. So I would like to see them more present in these last few games.
Yeah, and gentlemen, I want to bring up at least one talking point here. When I look down this list, I'm looking at the amount of teams that have been able to secure themselves a chicken dinner, and yet they're still down towards the bottom of the table. I mean, look at Donuts, Virtual Gaming Squad, TJB, and back-to-back. That's not a great sign or a great showing of consistency out of these teams.
Yeah, just one hit wonder really coming out from these guys. The situation you want, consistency is key, even in these short-term tournaments, right? If you can keep getting points every single day, even if you don't get wins, right, it doesn't matter. Like, you can do like Stalwart 3 third places in a row, you're pretty much set in a fantastic position. So one win is not going to cut it for these guys.
Okay, we're looking up further into the list. Remember, top 5. So at the moment, Damwon Kia would be the cutoff at 129 points. Get themselves into the after-party showdown with another $1 million on the line. We can see Enigma Galaxy. They're trying to make some moves. We got to see in a couple of the matches today. The first one, remember seeing them actually bomb it in over towards Damwon Kia as well. They still can be a realistic contender. I mean, Damwon Kia cannot feel safe whatsoever.
No, definitely. Especially with the way that Damwon is currently playing. I mean, of course, they're having that center up and hoping that it's coming to them. This game was very difficult for Damwon coming in from that southwest side and trying to traverse across the hills of Miramar oftentimes doesn't provide fruit when there's so many teams in front of you. And for Damwon that was also the case here.
And you're looking at Vampire 2. Really good catch-up. You know, they were falling a little bit out of relevancy, I have the impression, these last few days. But they got in a compound, and we were talking about it a little bit in the green room. They had a compound that really kind of cut them off the rest of the lobby. They were really having not a lot of visibility, not a lot of information, and they have that huge ridge south of their compound. You can't get eliminations. So, unfortunately, that game, the point they could have taken home was very limited. So, they could have been a little bit higher, but that compound was not the best to do so.
Yeah.
But Max, there's still 4 games left to go before we can hop.
True. Yes.
They just scared me there. I don't know. You just make a really jerk movement there. We still have obviously 4 matches left to go, but to make these matches even happen, big shout out to STC as well, another sponsor here at G8 at the PMWI 2022 to make this possible. Now, we've been obviously talking a lot about different things you guys can win, but there's also something Maxman has eluded, unfortunately for him, for the longest of time, a free permanent legendary set if you guys participate in the Vibe and Drive event. I'm so sorry, Max. The Vibe and Drive event, which you guys can participate with your friends and complete the missions and unlock one of those sweet deals. Max, you know what? I can help you. We can do this. We got 3 on the desk. Maybe Clarus and I can carry you. I mean, Avenger, I believe, used to be a pro player, but he's kind of washed up. That's why he's a caster.
Yeah, times have changed for Avenger.
50 years ago, it was different, yeah.
You can't see them off camera, but Seven just basically just lost himself. But ladies and gentlemen, you can see 1 minute and 17 left to go before we head into the next match. But it's going to be Sandhawks. So really quickly, Maxman, let's hear a prediction out of you of who's going to win.
I would like to see a Stalwart win. I think that RSG was a little bit mean yesterday, but I would like to see the Stalwart win. I'm sorry, okay, no curse, but kind of. Okay, whatever.
I normally pick Stalwart every game, but on Sandhawk, I'm not picking them. I don't know how that's going to go. That's a bold choice, Max.
Let's go.
Actually, no, they already told you on social media to stay away from them. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's not
That's
listening.
ridiculous.
John Allen tried to hold him back.
I don't
get
care.
more of us to hold him back as well. But the only thing is, we're not going to hold you back at home from seeing the third matches. We're about 40 seconds to kick things off. We're going to be over onto Sandhawk RSG. They were exceptionally loud yesterday. They've been ever so quiet today. Vampire Esports looking to redeem themselves from that first, or I guess from yesterday, where they didn't have the greatest of performances. And Damwon here on your screen looking to push through, secure themselves in a top 5 placing. But one way to do so is to hear the sweet voices of our commentators with Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
You know, they were talking about one-hit wonders. I want to see who's going to be the one-hit wonder here for Senna, because, yeah, they're not wrong. Back-to-back is a one-hit wonder. The team that won the first game, too. And, man, I absolutely lost it at what Jason said earlier.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good points coming out of the disc. There's also a lot of terrible takes, and in general, you know, considering that the biggest achievement we've seen from Kyle Harris is him being a top contender in the Bradford Go-Kart Series of 1999. Of course, Max as well, winning the chess tournament in his local French village with just 5 participants.
What they don't know, though, is that you are a 1993, 1994 back-to-back champion for breakdancing, right, Avenger?
Of my local high school. That's exactly what Calaris is trying to push for. That's a good storyline. But we are going to be ready with Sanok. I'm super, super excited for this one here. It's going to be our last cast of the day and the 3rd game overall. After this, we'll have only 3 more games to go, which is going to be covered, of course, by our fantastic casters, John, Allen, and Blank. We are going to be going from the east towards the west, and the guys are going to be jumping out of the plane where they're going to be seeing fit. But I'm looking forward to these hot tubs that we're potentially going to be seeing here. 7.
Yeah, and on the first game that we got a chance to cast today, we're talking about how these 3 games were going to be setting the tone, right? And they have definitely set a huge tone, and that is that the bottom teams are trying to move up. Yeah, they might not be able to make it to the top 5, but they are trying to move up because at the end of the day, there is a prize pool. They are trying to get a little bit more money into their pocket, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be pushing for that even more, which is going to, I feel like it's going to make it even tighter on the top 5.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And a really hot circle here that we have all the rivers in play. We don't know if we're going to go north, west, east, or south. And of course, thank you to Sony Xperia for being our official smartphone partner here for the PMWI for 2022. And of course, we're going to be seeing our teams jumping in. But we are in the Stalwart Reckons fight inside the Lobster here in boot camp. The question is, who's going to be winning this one?
And I mean, yesterday, I don't remember who got a chance to win it. I think it might have been our
RSG, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure you'll get a chance to correct me, Avenger. But this is going to be a huge fight. I mean, this is teams that are currently in the top 5, actually first place and fourth place. And if I'm Team Falcons, I'm just going to be so happy that this is going on, as well as Vampire Esports. Overall, they're playing it slow. They're playing it patient. And I'm going to end up looking towards the top of the mountain. Yeah, I don't see Team Soul. Remember, Team Soul tried to surprise. I think it was Star Wars Esports, if I'm not mistaken, that actually got the win on that Sandhawk yesterday. If not, it was RSG. I can't remember which one out of the two it was that actually got the win here on the boot camp drop. But right now, I think they're learning their lessons because they are playing it a lot slower than they did yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what is going to be happening in this one here. The question is, who survived this one? Again, as you're pointing out, it is two of our top teams that is fighting in this situation here, and that is not a good situation for them, of course. The question is, who comes out on top?
It was actually RSG. RSG ended up winning this fight, and they ended up getting a 5th place and 11 Ilum. So a lot can happen to this. We do see some fights going on the horizon, but I feel like this is definitely one of the most important fights. You see RSGC trying to find a player from Star Wars Esports, and you best believe as soon as this player starts getting knocked, some of the other teams might try to pounce on it and try to third-party it. And that's exactly what Team Soul is doing. You can't really see them on your screen right now, but instead of that, they have realized what kind of circle they have, and they are currently rotating towards the south mountain of boot camp.
All right, Peter, what can you make happen here? Vaz finds TJB, as you see in our elimination feed action. Getting a bit of action here. The question is, does Star Wars try to stay inside this bigger building here, the so-called lobster, or do they just try to make something else happen? They are trying to push onto Pika, as you see here. Again, really closely knitted together as a team. Pika on the very top of this 3-story. And yeah.
I was going to say, with Pika being there, he's going to at least be able to relay a lot of information in regards to where he's hearing footsteps, so that's going to be able to help them out. But I'm currently looking at Team Soul. I was talking about the rotation that they're making to the south of boot camp, and that rotation is fully done. They're currently going to be setting themselves up, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking forward to trying to third-party something out of this. But you know what? There is some Ilums happening, and it is 52 Esports getting some Ilums on TJB EU.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a rough situation for this one here. I really want to see the teams prioritize on getting into a good position. Maybe sometimes you can have these teams that are holding some of the bridges on the west side now that we have all the rivers of Sanhok in play. Pika on the top, half HP. He does have a DPS though. Carlaris' favorite gun. It's the only thing he can hit anything with.
Hey. I have potato aim too, so I also try to use the shotguns, and I'm going to be honest, I even can't hit anything with the DBS, so it's kind of sad.
GC, can he make a dream happen here, or what is going on? Back to back, though, they are holding a very strategical, important point in the circle here, the very dead center of this circle. Soul, again, in this situation where they're peeking over and getting the information that we're getting out of boot camp, potentially could be gatekeeping either Stalwart or Reckons, whoever comes out on top for this one.
And I think this is perfect for Team Soul. Just wait it out, see what's going to happen, and see if you're going to be able to third party. And I can see that they have some players that are anchored, looking at what back-to-back is going to be doing. We have seen circles that goes to that trifecta area where the 3 rivers kind of meet. So perfect location here from Team Soul, and it comes down to who is going to make action happen here between Star Wars Esports and RSG.
Yeah, and the question is RSG going to be able to win it again? Reagans with the top situation last time. Stalwart going out early, and that would be rough for Stalwart. You know, they aren't top right now. They are maintaining a good spot, and if they can further that lead right now down to Falcons, down to Vampire, and Reckons themselves too, they could defend this top spot. We have some swimmers out early on in this situation. It is Damonkia that are swimming across. They're trying to get in onto the small northwestern island, the Alpha Island.
And I think Pika's kind of lucky right now because with the angle that Team Soul is doing, he's not going to get pushed. I mean, there is some of his teammates here, and as I said, that Action being able to get the first knock, and he's going to get the finish. This is going to be the opening that Star Wars Esports needs. You can see Action moving into action, trying to push forward, and Team Soul is just waiting up there. You can see he's going to move up closer. Pika being at the top, if he is going to try to make a move, he needs to be careful with Team Soul. They're currently just eyeing him. They know that he's there. He needs to watch out for a third party. Here we go, Action cooking the nade. Is he going to do it? He decides to back off a little bit, waiting for his teammates to get there. He's going to try to go for it again. If they got some more nades, this might be one of the perfect nades. Oh, a bit too much.
All right, Pika still half HP, means no. Oh, that's some good shots now. Action with the DPS coming in, taking one down, taking Lightning down, one of the top players from Regans. And now we're just down to 2 players. What can Double D do in this situation?
Pika does make the push down. We do see some DPS. Who's going to be able to get this knock? GC is still alive. He might end up getting third party. He does end up getting third party there from Team Soul, I believe, and RSG is eliminated. Team Soul Hector and Action actually being able to get some knocks and some elims there. At least at 1 point for their team.
Yeah, it's really important for Stalbot to keep on and maintain. They get the points, 3 points for this. Also manage to stay alive. This circle could go their way. We could still see a bootcamp ending in this situation here, so that is super important for them. And also, Regans could be losing some of those placements on the leaderboard. They could be going down if we have the teams that are chasing have a good game in this one. Falcons on screen. They have lost a player. You see 4 rivals in the distance, Pemberu and Jumper as well.
Yeah, and with Team Falcons, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to be doing here. They might be going for a heal off, which is usual. Is usual to see here in Sandhawk, but it might benefit him if I'm being honest with the way they're currently located, with the way the circle is playing.
Yeah, exactly, and the circle is closing in. The big question is again, where are we going to end up here? There's a slightly bigger chance that we're going to go up on the Charlie Island or the southwestern one. The question is, where do we end up? I'm really hoping we're going to see, a center circle that all the islands are still going to be in play.
I was going to say, I love seeing that replay because we got a chance to see how Pika was able to just push down, and he was waiting for the right moment, and he did so. And the team with Action being able to get that first knock, being able to get that first elim, big, just the chemistry. It goes to show the chemistry that team has. Everybody knew as soon as they got that knock, just make that push. And now, which circle are we going to end up getting here?
Oh my God!
And it's going to be unknown. I feel like my toxic trait is going to come out. I want to see some water.
We're loving the water that is in this one for sure. Vampire already is sitting up pretty good. Still a bigger chance for it to go south, but we could see a center circle again for this one. But Vampire looking really strong for this one. They are currently trying to get back to the level that we've seen from them. They do right now have the record of most points made in just a single game. 39 points, 24 eliminations in the very first game of the tournament. And the question is, can they maybe make another good one? I don't feel like we're going to see it on Sandhawk. Sandhawk is often a situation where we see so many teams fighting out in the blue. It's very linear when we're looking at how many teams are getting elimination points. It's often very spread out across.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And I also feel like it's just so hectic. It doesn't really give you the time to engage with the team because you're going to have to worry about that third party. The map is definitely a lot smaller, which is going to allow those third parties to be a lot faster. And if you're not able to finish a team, I would say within at least a minute and a half to 2 minutes, somebody's listening out there and somebody's creating some kind of angles. We just saw it perfectly. We saw what happened with Team Soul during the fight of RSG and Star Wars Esports. They were able to get at least one elim out of that fight.
Yeah, and here on screen we have a ton and Box could potentially be fighting. But the question for me is, some of the teams that have been looting, Sami and some of these far away destinations, have they been able to get, 25 first dates and are in the circle right now? They could be getting a pretty damn good spot to set up a healing strategy. A ton looking like they want to defend this high ground and potentially try to get some of the elimination points that are sitting down in the compound that the Bucks are currently. And we see back-to-back is still gatekeeping one of the bridges. We have Morph on screen, also just in the southeastern eastern edge. And the guys from Indonesia, they're obviously trying to push themselves further up the leaderboard. Right now in 7th place, 103 points, within striking distance of the top 5. And obviously, they want to try to get it and push themselves further into this situation.
Yeah, I think they might be able to. And another team that's currently being a little bit quiet is going to be Enigma Galaxy. By the way, while we're at it, complete daily missions to earn points. And once enough points are accumulated, tap on rewards icons to claim the corresponding reward.
And of course, you can participate in the event solo or with your team. And you can do both things, and you could easily get the rewards if you're playing with your teammates.
Yeah, and talking about teams, I mean, between August 4th and August 13th, all users in the region of the top 3 teams will have a chance to win a prize maximum of 1 award per user. And during that same span, between August 4th and August 13th, I'll tell you in a bit, because guess what? Damwon Kia wants to get into an action. And talking about action, I did see Box Gaming knocking one of the players from Team Seoul.
Yeah, exactly. They are utilizing the box formation and really trying to get into a good situation for this one. But Damwon Kia on the high ground, they have the circle that are pushing away. Multiple of them is outside the circle currently, and that's a rough situation. We really want to see them come in. Circle is closing very shortly. We are going to see a new circle pop just very soon. And as you see on the map, they are on the top right now outside the zone. They could move in through and towards Camp Alpha and get closer to Vivo Keat Stars. But they are setting up a really good breach camp. I'm kind of hoping for this to go north. That would be a fantastic, really toxic one. That's the one you love. Yeah, I can just see yes. Oh, it actually goes north. Oh, my God. Send us up on Vivo Keat Stars. Cielo, Diego, and the boys, they are going to be really happy about this one. But I want to point this out here. Action is currently 1,000 damage ahead of third place. Lightning just close by for this one, too.
And while we're looking at that, I mean, if we look at this map, look at Team Falcons. They're so far away from this, and it's going to be very, very hard for them to actually rotate into that circle. So I think they might try to go for that heal strat.
Super impressive with the eliminations as well. In their 30s, Action and Lightning is currently. And as you see on the minimap, so many teams are moving. We can see 52 with a huge macro transition from the northeast and trying to get onto the northern side of the island. Also, boats are going to be used. It's Vampire. They're trying to pick up everybody. Fluke picked up quite fastly. Schweppes is going to go across quickly, try to get some of this really, really important real estate. Now, Enigma Galaxy sees them. They could potentially get some points out of this one. Schweppes does run out. It's really far distance shots here. Again, we could be talking potentially above those 400 meters, close to it, that we currently have for the Eagle Eye reward. The $5,000 extra we can have from this one. Super impressive. To be able to knock players 400 meters away is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I think Enigma Galaxy decided, you know what, let's not even take a shot. He might have been able to take a shot, but just nothing was going to come out of it, and they are going to try to take a shot on that player that is swimming as Raouf, almost getting knocked himself from Vampire Esports. They're far away, but I think they might actually want that extra 5K.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing here from Schweppes in that situation, right? You are the one taking that first transition over the end on the boats to make sure that the other guys can swim across safely, so he does protect them, shooting a little bit here towards Enigma Galaxy. Istanbul Wildcats on screen. It's Lux taking some shots towards Stalvat. Action is half HP, as you see in the distance. Also really far here with the 4xM4. He has 4 grenades, has a lot of utility, and we see the level 3 helmet on one of the players as well. 3 vests onto Pika, 55% damage reduction rather than the 40 that the level 2 vest offers, and a little bit more durability. Top finds one of the Istanbul Wildcat players, and that's super unfortunate. We hear our colleagues from next door, the Turkish guys, go, ooh, that is not good. That could potentially mean that our top leader right now could be pushing them.
Yeah, it could be, and you can see Wildcats, though, keeping a very close eye here on what Star Wars Esports is going to be doing. Virtual Gaming Squad having 1 player knock. They are currently outside in the gas, and 52 Esports getting spotted. They are going to get knocked by blowing up the car. Gaddafi being able to get that knock. He's going to be able to secure that Ilum, I'm sure, but I think they are going to let the player that is down from BGS just... if I'm them, I'm going to say sorry. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to pick you up.
Exactly. Next circle's popping. As you see on the map here, a lot of the circles has gone west, so the mass majority of the pressure is coming in on the east. You see how many teams that is on that edge right now. Many teams are moving in. Falcons is one of them, as 7 is pointing out here to me. Virtual Gaming Squad on the northern side. Also, TJB trying to move in. Oh my God, that is the wildest northwestern shift I've seen in ages. We end up going to the North Island, the Camp Alpha Island here. Damwon Kia looking really good. Vampire looking really good, and Vivo Kid Stars are looking really good here in this next circle.
Yeah, Vampire Esports is going to be so happy with this, especially considering that Nate McGalaxy is going to be across the river, and that might be able to get some shots and also eliminate that team. Keep in mind, these are teams that are currently fighting within those top fives. Vampire Esports is currently in third place, and Nate McGalaxy is just knocking on the door of the top five there in sixth place. You can see back-to-back trying to find a way to bridge this. Star Wars Esports players, they need to hurry because I do see some Team Soul players coming up behind them. And remember, we saw already what Team Soul can do when they third party. They're going to be able to eliminate some people. And here you go. Top, make the push. Is back-to-back going to be able to capitalize on any of this? I do like that Molotov there from Action being able to stop them.
More utility usage. No, but they are closing off the potential peaks that he could be peeking around, right? So you're denying accessibility to go out and push that. Now smokes are being deployed to Stalwart, while we see in the elimination feed that Morph is taking a lot of hits in this situation.
And something that I saw right there, as Action decided to move up, he did let go of his healing, and he gave it to his other teammates. So I think they might actually end up going with the heal up top. Gets knocked as well. Kill Switch being able to get the knock. Pika, 13.
Last player.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great play from them. But I think he wants these ilms, and that's exactly what he's going to go for right now. There you go. If you can get the X points, just go for it. And I think at that point, he's going to decide to slow it down. And I was talking about Team Soul being able to third party. Well, guess what? Team Soul is going to do just that, and they're going to eliminate back-to-back from North America.
And that's a really interesting one, right? Because he could potentially go up and take some more of those first aids that back-to-back had. So he could get even more of those 13 first aids that he has already, potentially go all the way up to 20. The question is, how deep can he take this one here for Stalwart and Pika? Right now, Falcons on screen, Yusuf there too. Now Morph here with a potential fight against 4 rivals. Frenzy takes some shots, really good shots to get. That is a nice finish off to another point secured for Morph. Currently on 7th place, 103 points. They are one of these teams chasing. They really need these points.
Morph. I mean, wow. That was some shots right there, and I think he knows that there is going to be some other players there from 4 rivals trying to go for it. The player from 4 rivals does have 16 medkits. Can he do it? You see Hector there from Team Soul getting knocked by Atani Esports, and you saw Atani Esports also getting knocked by Nick McGalaxy. There's just going to be some absolute madness here. Vivo Kid, Team Soul X-Shot, can he actually get knocked here? Oh, I think he's the one that's currently doing the heal off for Team Soul, and he needs to be careful because Choco knows exactly where he's at. Choco's not going to be able to heal himself up, but I think X-Shot is able to get the knock there on Team... he got the knock on Choco, and that's going to be another point if he's able to confirm that for Team Soul.
VGS fighting Istanbul Wildcats currently. See Vivo Kid on screen here with Bucks fighting 2. Potentially later, they are across side of the roads, but they're going to be advancing in this situation. Until Gaming Squad. Oh, that's a little bit of damage coming through. Break taking a little bit of damage on the level 3 as in that situation. The UMP in hand. Can we see some more pushes? But a lot of... I see so many solos out of the blue. I see at least 4 solos on the blue trying right now to heal. Falcons gone out in 12th place. 0 eliminations. That's going to be a rough run here for the 3rd game of the day here at PMWI in Riyadh.
That is going to be a big one for them because, I mean, Star Wars Esports already has some points. And you can see, Goblin gets eliminated there from Box Gaming. Box Gaming trying to work their way up. They are currently in 11th place, trying to make it to the top 6, and they are going to be going up against Vivo Key. These are 2 teams that are actually need this points. Vivo Key is above Box Gaming in regards to the leaderboard. Can they actually do something here? Here comes the shot. Box Gaming, trust me, being able to knock down Gremlin. Adrian, the MVP out of that squad. Can he do anything? He's going to get spotted. Oh, just barely in time, and this saves him because a lot of the other teams are looking at this fight. Can this grenade connect with anybody? And he's not going to be able to connect with anybody there. Overall, though, Cielo still alive from Vivo Kid as well.
Shots.
Adrian, can you get out of this alive? And he is going to be able to.
McGrellan gone down too, and this is just Vivo Kid down to Cielo and Adrian. Adrian had a Grossa in hand, and now Box has to heal this off. The next circuit did go north, so VG is looking good. They're taking a fight right now with Damwon Kia. Forrest gone down really low. He's 2 or 3 HP left after that grenade. So Forrest has to try to heal this off. Virtual Game Short still 4 alive. But Daffy finds Forrest with that nade. That's super important. Pika going down to play zone. That's impressive with the amount of first aids that he had.
Yeah, and with that, even though Star Wars Esports was eliminated, they did end up with at least 6 points for their elimination. So that's going to be big for them because remember, Team Falcons, the team that's currently chasing them for the second place, did end up getting 0 points. Here we go, Vampire Esports. Talk about the top three. This is a team that's also trying to chase. If they can win this game, it's going to be a massive change on the leaderboard. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking forward. Stone almost getting knocked by Vivo Cielo. And he's able to just barely get away. He needs to heal up. And he needs to be careful because Box Gaming is still behind him. Then one Kia. Omba currently with the heal off too. So many teams currently trying out this heal off. And Virtual Gaming Squad, even though they have been a little bit quiet, guess what? They still have all their 4 players up.
Stone trying to secure more points for Vampire. That is 4 for them so far. Chilla gone down to Trishmi. Box advancing, and that 7th place for Vivo Keed. Stars and 1 elimination point only gone for them. Ooh, Wildcats finds 1. Box goes down in 6th place with 5 eliminations. So now let's see what Wildcats can get out of this. Shots are coming in from Stone. Lux did not realize that it was that angle he was getting shot from.
Yeah, and Vampire Esports, as I mentioned earlier, if they can secure some extra points here too, that's going to be big. And then one Kia as well.
Only 1 point for one elimination for Damwon Kia. That's huge as well in terms of the overall leaderboard. Virtual Gaming Squad looking really good in this situation here. They have 4 guys strong. They have 8 eliminations currently, and they're going up against Vampire that has 6 eliminations and only 3 players strong. Again, we have been talking about so many times they have this 4-player advantage. The question is, can Vampire Esports turn this one around here? Can the guys from Thailand make the dream happen?
And as you say that, Ravenclaw is able to get the knock right there on Yavaz from Virtual Gaming Squad. And now, it's even now. Here comes the Molotovs. They're going to be trying to control where Virtual Gaming Squad players are going to go. And guess what? Another knock. Faluji being able to get the knock. He lays down. He does get knocked by Stone. Can Vampire Esports clutch this up? They currently do have the numbers. You can see Gaddafi right there. The only man standing for Virtual Gaming Squad trying to clutch it up for them. Stone with the grenade cooking it. Can he get it? There you go!
Vampire Esports!
Talk about a nade. Vampire Esports, our last game that we're going to be able to cast, and what a way. I cannot wait to see what the leaderboard is going to look like, because with that win, they just might have pushed a little bit closer towards that first place. Wow, what a nade.
Fantastic nade, and fantastic way for them to be turning this around. 3 players taking against a 4-player team. That is so rare we see this being able to happen here. So really great to see Vampire Esports taking a win. And that's actually our last cast so far in the main tournament.
Hey, I've been having an absolute blast. It's an absolute blast to be here with you. And I'm just happy we got to see that ending right there. This is why I love Sandhawk. Absolute madness. You don't really know who's going to be able to take it, but Vampire Esports play that so well, considering that they have 1 player less. And I feel like that first knock that they were able to get on Virtual Gaming Squad was just absolutely big.
And it's just action from start to finish here. But we are going to be going back to the desk here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the leaderboard looks here. But stay tuned. After this short break, they're going to show you everything.
Welcome back, everyone, to PMWI 2022. We've had another big win come through, this time for Vampire, as they get themselves now past that halfway point and potentially one step closer to getting a top 5 finish. Big shout out here to Spotify as well, one of the sponsors we have here at the show, as well as Razer, making this possible for all of us to participate in and all of us to enjoy at home or in the arena, depending on where you are. But gentlemen, as we take a look at our match rankings by STC, we're going to see a lot of teams have started to close this gap here into our top positions. RSG going out very early to Stalwart Esports could mean their demise.
I think you're looking at me, Kalash, because Stalwart didn't get himself the win. But okay, at least they did win the fight versus RSG in the early game, right?
That's important.
Virtual Gaming Squad able to get themselves some extra points there, Kalaris.
That's right. They've had a great day so far here. Wow. I think it's fair to say 20 points really pushing them up the leaderboards here. And considering that they were languishing down towards the lower positions, the same applies as back-to-back did to here VGS. Yeah. The fact that they can now push up for more money and it's going to be, Virtual Gaming Squad mania running wild here for the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing, really running away with a good game this time around. Though Dennis Bank Wildcats and Enigma Galaxy also two very close contenders to that top 5 to qualify into the after-party showdown. These are definitely some results you don't want to overlook. So overall, it's definitely close between a lot of the top teams currently. But Vampire, they went top 5. That win is huge for them to try and climb up in that first place.
What's important about this is you have Vampire Esports, you have Damwon Kia, you have Stalwart Esports, 3 teams that were in the top 5, able to either, well, actually, no, not to either. They are lengthening their lead against the teams like Reagan's Gaming, because Reagan's Gaming and Damwon Kia were technically tied in points, so because they have 2 chicken dinners, Damwon Kia was actually in 5th. So right now, like just the fact that Damwon Kia, they're not doing amazing here in this match, but they're still getting points. They're still creating a bigger lead against the likes of teams trying to take away their top 5 position.
Doing enough here for Damwon Kia. Again, I think if we probably weighed up their placements to elimination points, we're probably going to see a heavy emphasis on those placement points. They are very adept at being able to secure those, be it on any battleground, I think is fair to say. But if you would indulge me for a moment, I'd like to talk about Vampire Esports, if that's good by you, Jason, because
I can go on break now?
No, absolutely not. Because Vampire Esports, I want to say, this is some of the best movement we have seen, I think, on any of the Sandhawks, absolutely, or maybe even any of the battlegrounds here so far as well. They were almost clairvoyant in their understanding of how they needed to move from compound to compound, even moving across water in a very difficult circle to constantly get themselves in the right place. So this was a very calculated win by Vampire Esports, and I'm extremely impressed, especially since we've heard from them directly that their focus is so much on positioning, because they did it flawlessly in this game.
Yeah. I was a little bit scared actually during that game because the amount of space they were working with is very narrow. Like the roads were making it very complicated to work around. So really big props to them for able to actually work in their favor and to actually get himself the win at the end of the day and get himself that grenade in particular.
Thinking back how the game started, right? We obviously had the fight at boot camp between Stalwart and Reagan's Gaming. But you had to have been scared. But to be fair as well, Damwon Kia, they just took a little swim on the northern side. We were all confused. Like, what is happening? There has to have been a boat around there.
There are boat spawns up there, a cow beyond as well. But I guess they felt like they didn't have exactly the right amount of time to be able to go up there to get them to then actually move on. But here we are, Jason.
So close.
You can see here, RSG, the cutoff in 5th place at 129 points. Nimbic Galaxy at 123. I know Blank was saying, I think they were 16 points behind, able to close the gap quite a bit now, only being 6 in total. But so is Dennis Bank Wildcats. Again, we have 3 matches left to go, and there are still teams in reach of top 5, considering the way RSG are playing.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of consistency from these teams on the top right. We've seen them consistently be on the first page of these match rankings, like Dennis Bank Wildcats and Enigma Galaxy have been there pretty consistently, while RSG showed out these big performance games, like these big absolute pop-off games, but then the games where they don't perform, the gap is closing every single time.
Yeah, at the start of the day, Jason, I was saying, I feel like the top 5 is solid. I feel like this isn't going to change. I think we've blown that out of the water now at this point, considering the way RSG is playing this. The other 4, right? I feel, are staying stable, but...
Yeah, that's the key, right? Is that between day 1 and day 2, Reagan's Gaming have completely shown up. But from day 2 to day 3, they're really acting like a day 1 team, unfortunately, for them. And they need to show up here right now if they want to have a chance. But so do our commentators, because the next match is getting underway here. As we do have Aaron coming up. It's match 4, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 left to go here in the main event. Of course, we have the after party showdown kicking off next week. But here is what it's all about. $2 million on the line. $500,000 for first place. And we only have cash for the teams, but cash money for your ears with John Allen and Blank.
I'm cash your money, Blank. There we go. Very good. Thank you very much, Jason. We're going to be getting...
And we only have cash money for the teams, but cash money for your ears with John Allen and Blank.
I'm cash your money, Blank. There we go. Very good. Thank you very much, Jason. We're going to be getting into the final stretch here at the PMWI. It's exciting stuff. It's very, very close at the top, Blank.
Extremely close to the top, in fact. Star Wars Esports 166, Vampire 162, Team Falcons. We love you too. Dude at 150, but Time One Kia too far behind with 136. Points, probably one of the biggest surprises for me here. The Korean representatives down One Kia really putting on a good show yesterday. They could have gone slightly further if they were able to close out that last angle yesterday. But so far, things have been pretty good here and there. Been trying to take that center for themselves, but not quite able to translate a big win as of yet. Stalwart, on the other hand, it has been consistency all the way for themselves. And now here, going into the fourth match of the day, 166 points. But Vampire Esports, they're bringing it back.
Certainly are, especially as Kalaris was mentioning there, with some of the best rotational play that we've seen so far this tournament, to be able to read that one like a book, and a very good one at that, hopefully for them. Maybe they've been reading a little bit of Nosferatu, some of the Dracula novels, maybe.
I see what you're trying to do here, and I was about to say, that's not the greatest book in the world, but we'll take it. I have been to Whitby at least one time.
I was trying to think about books about vampires, and what?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't mention Twilight.
Oh, don't. That's what I was trying to avoid.
I'm so sorry. But these guys, they really are putting on a series. We had the trilogy, and now we're looking at that third day. We started strong with that huge 24 limb game, and it may have gone downhill just a little bit for Vampire Esports, but it looks like they do finish strong as well. But it will be up to these last three matches, because there's still quite a lot of points to be had here in the lobby as we head over to Erangel right now. Down one, USG, Rozok. Nothing's changed there, with his playing path being extremely kind compared to most of the others during this kind of small tournament. PMWI, I say small in terms of length, but it is huge in terms of the pride on the line here, in terms of the glory, the prize pool itself. So all of these teams really are trying to bring absolutely everything they can from the back of their arsenal.
Just scraping the bottom of the barrel there, trying to get anything they can. Pop it in the pocket. Oh, look at this. Plane path was fairly kind. George pulled down to Milter. A lot of places open, but the circle, a hard northern shift.
Towards this northeast side. Now, Stalwart might struggle with this one just slightly because they're dropping over towards Neuer. We've already explained this before, but with an 18-team lobby, it's very difficult to have those secondary spots. So Stalwart's almost forced to head down towards Nova up Neuer right now. And with this eastern side on the circle as well, and them always crossing on the eastern bridge, they're going to come into contact with a fair few teams. You can also come into contact with a fair few of these teams as well, as long as you are watching together with us. So if you complete those daily missions to earn those points, once you have enough of those points and they are there, tap on the reward icon to claim the corresponding reward.
And participate in the event either solo, or you can team up with other players. Both totally fine. And if you team up, it could be a little bit easier to get those rewards.
And you saw that little fancy graphic there on your screen there. That's for the PMWI gun skin and outfit. The sale period is
Got eyes on, but TJB are guarding out on the bridge. North George trying to stop the